Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm supposed to taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever saw. It's right here.
You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about it.
I don't think I've ever said this before.
He did, but Paddle did even more to it. Anyways, good morning, folks. We have, in my opinion, the CEO of CNN in the house, Scott Jennings, but he wouldn't call himself that. I've been calling him that for a while. And Scott, it's great to have you on. Absolutely love your work. I think you bring a lot of people to CNN. And by the way, I wish Stephen Colbert would do something like that. I wish some of these late night show guys, if they would have done it, they would have had a bigger audience. But it's great to have you on the podcast.
Thank you. I do embrace the title, but CEO for me is Chief Excitement Officer. That's what we're doing on the panel.
Let's do it. And you constantly do it. So we got a ton of stories to go through. One thing that I open up with just a question, if you don't mind, because the audience, including myself, Scott, I lived in Kentucky for 2 years.
You did?
Clarksville, okay, 101st Airborne. So Louisville.
That's where I grew up down there.
Did you really?
Dawson Springs, just a few minutes away from Clarksville.
So there was that big mall, the Governor's, whatever the mall was, Clarksville. We used to go there. There was a Ponderosa. I don't know if you've ever been to Ponderosa.
My first date was at a Ponderosa.
Was it really? First steak I had at Ponderosa, I thought we were rich. I'm like, this is the best $7 steak I've had in my life.
Wow. Is that like a buffet? What is the Ponderosa?
How do you describe? Ponderosa is a step up above
Sizzler?
Denny's.
Sizzler.
I think it's like Sizzler's, a little bit maybe lower than Sizzler.
Let's not talk trash about Sizzler, because we going Sizzler. That's the spot.
Yeah. So, but with you, Scott, I mean, one day, the world doesn't have a clue who you are. The next day, who the hell is this Scott Jennings guy? How did that happen?
Well, I've been with CNN for over 8 years, believe it or not. And, we sort of bebopped along. And during COVID, we didn't do a ton of political coverage. And so for a lot of us commentators, we were not a major part of that. But really, after that, and then with the advent of the presidential campaign, we got back to normal. You know, CNN is known for politics, presidential coverage. It's the home of Crossfire, and I mean that's what we do. And so when we got to a normal presidential campaign, 2024, for people like me, it was a huge opportunity. And then about a year ago, they changed the format of the 10 o'clock show, the Abby Phillip Newsnight show, and they turned it into a debating show. It's the only debating show on the network, and I think it's the only show like it on TV, on cable news right now. And so when we made that change, it gave me a chance to debate all these people at the same time. And so when you combine the presidential coverage with that debating show, I mean, we started creating content that I agree with you. A lot of people, a lot of Republicans are saying, hey, I have something to watch on CNN. And I hear all the time people out there saying, I haven't watched in years. I'm watching it now. I'm seeing the clips. And so for CNN, to me, our actual CEO, Mark Thompson, made this decision last year. I think it was genius.
Shout out to Mark Thompson.
It was genius. He decided, I'm going to put a debating show on the air. And I go all over. People say, I don't like what you say, but I love the debates. Or they say, I love you, and I like the debates. The debate is the commonality. They love it.
Good for them for doing that, by the way. Good for them for doing that. Because honestly, prior to that, I had no idea you were with CNN. Now you tell me 8 years? Yeah. I could have told you the first day I found out about you was when the debate stuff happened. Because you were just so good at showcasing your ability to debate. It's funny, I was talking to Will Cain once, and Will Cain had left. I don't know where he went. Maybe he went to the Blaze, or he went somewhere else before going to Fox. I said, Will, you were great on First Take when you would debate Stephen A. Smith. I haven't seen the debate, and it doesn't bring that side of you. So there's a lot of talent out there. When they get into the debating side, you see a different side in them. But that's great to hear. Anyways, okay. So we got a lot of stories to cover. Scott, our format is basic. We'll go to a ton of stories, and we'll react to them. I'm sure you've seen what our format is here. And in advance, forgive Adam. I have to always put that disclosure out there. We have people sign up front in advance to forgive us for Adam's behavior. He takes time to get to his point, but eventually does, at least 20% of the time. All right, so a few
20%
stories.
20% of the time, every time.
Exiled Iranian prince says he's got 50,000 defectors have contacted him to help topple the regime. We'll see if that's true or not. Powell pushes back on Trump's cost claims during awkward tour of Fed building. Extremely, extremely awkward. We'll play the clip. Democrats' approval rating craters to 35-year low, according to Wall Street Journal. Story that just came out. $100 million missing. Trump calls Fire 8 another Democrat-inspired scam. California wildfire charity funds never reached direct victims. You should hear what they did with $75 million of it. Trump challenges media to talk about Bill Clinton, Larry Summers when discussing Epstein. Trump's EU van der Leyen strike trade deal for 15% tariffs. Rob, do you have that clip when he's asked, are you willing to go anything lower than 15%? Do you have that clip? See if you can find it. I love his answer. Did you,
I haven't seen it.
Have you seen it, Scott?
No.
It's so great, his answer. It's beautiful.
All right.
It's the shortest word in the world, but the answer is magical, right? Bryce Harper reportedly told Rob Manfred to get the F out of our clubhouse if he wanted to talk salary cap. And I don't think he's alone there. A lot of people feel that way about that commissioner. Sydney Sweeney. Scott, this is controversial.
Yeah.
American Eagle ad slammed as Nazi propaganda by crazed woke mob over jeans pun. Okay, we'll go to that story here in a minute. Trump perfects the art of making powerful people squirm on camera. He's good at doing that. Trump sues New York City over sanctuary city policies. We're going to go through all the Powell stuff. There's a bunch of Ghislaine Maxwell meeting with DOJ stuff that we'll get to. Jamie Dimon breaks with idiots in Democratic Party. Bill Maher came out and said he was wrong on tariffs. And there's a couple good tariff stories that we'll get to. And then probably the first story we'll start off was with the tragic event of what happened in New York City, where the gunman ID'd Shane Tamura after deadly shooting that killed NYPD officer. And there's a couple interesting stories about it. One is how Aaron Burnett called the shooter possibly white, and then the reason behind him doing what he did linked to football, which is very interesting. We'll get into that as well. Gang, for those of you guys that follow by the way, last night we were up at the Cigar Lounge at 12:45. Shout out to the crew. We revealed finally the Platinum Lounge. We took everybody to Casa D'Angelo, came back to the Cigar Lounge, 12:45. Dylan was selling shoes. Yes, shoes. You'll see the new FLB ones that are coming out. I can't wait to reveal it at the vault here soon. He was there till 12:40. I'm like, Dylan, we got to go home. We got a podcast in the morning. I'm not leaving until I hit this number. Anyways, that's that story. However, once a year, we host a conference called the Vault Conference. We're expecting nearly 12,000 people here at the event. Rob, you can play the clip and just turn off the audio while I'm going through it. And we have special guest speakers that will be there this year. You already know Tony Robbins. If you've never seen Tony Robbins live, you got to do whatever you can to come to this event. He's going to be speaking for a couple hours and doing a Q&A. And then we have Martha Stewart. We were able to get Martha Stewart to agree to come out, the first original influencer that became a billionaire in 99. She's going to share her tips on what she did. She's got a documentary that came out. Everybody I see, the ladies are like, oh, my God, did you watch the documentary? This is your chance to get a chance to have an opportunity to meet her. And then David Falk, Michael Jordan's agent, who did all those big deals, will be at the Vault Conference. 3 days, 200-page manual we'll go through together. Best place for networking. Bring your spouse, bring your business partner. If you haven't yet registered, go to thevaultconference.com or that QR code right there. Get registered. Come spend 3.5 days with us. September 8th through the 11th at the Gaylord. And don't tell me you'll do it next year. I'm so tired of 25 years of hearing everybody saying next year, next year, next year. Do it now. Spend 3.5 days with us. We can't wait to see you there. Having said that, let's get right into it. First story, yesterday, okay? NYC gunman ID'd as Shane Tamura after deadly shooting that killed NYPD officer. Shane Tamura, 27-year-old Las Vegas man with a documented mental health history, was identified as a gunman who stormed 345 Park Avenue on Monday evening, killing 4 people, including NYPD officer Darumal Islam, and wounding 1 before killing himself. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch said Tamura entered the skyscraper at 6:30 p.m., shot Islam, a woman behind a pillar, and a security guard in the lobby, then killed 1 more on the 33rd floor. Tamura, who worked as a Vegas casino security guard, double-parked a vehicle with Nevada plates and carried a Palmetto State Armory AR-15 rifle per photos obtained by the Post. Rob, do you have a clip to play on this? You got a couple of them.
I do.
Go for it.
You know what he looks like. Sunglasses, mustache, male, possibly white. And
Was that it?
Possibly white.
Possibly.
Oh, possibly white.
Oh, this
Got
is
it.
the clip.
Did she really say possibly white?
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's gonna
Go back again. Go back to that.
they do know what he looks like. Sunglasses, mustache, male, possibly white. And
Okay. All right,
possibly.
so go to the next one. Go to the next one. I mean, look,
Who
if
he
you call
is?
me possibly white, I'm Middle Eastern, guys. Okay, but go ahead. Go play this clip.
They do not know who he is. They know he is a male, possibly white. He's wearing sunglasses. He appears to have a mustache. And that picture has been distributed to every police officer in New York City, particularly has been sent to the phones of the search teams inside that building, because whenever they encounter a group of people, the first thing they have to figure out is that individual among these people hiding among victims or pretending to be an office worker? Because one thing you don't want to have happen is to have this kind of cordon where you're trying to evacuate people in groups as you can get them.
Rob, you can pause it. Do you have the clip of him walking with the AR-15? Do you know which one I'm talking? There's a clip right there. If you can go to that one. No, one more. So that's him. He just walks up.
Yeah.
You mean the camera doesn't pick that up? He just walks up. So, Scott, what happened here? What happened with this shooting?
Well, it sounds like from what I've read this morning, this guy drove all the way across the country, has some kind of mental illness, and decided to walk in there. I think the NFL is in there. He used to be a football player. And so, and I read maybe there's a suicide note that he left as well. So it's obviously a tragic situation. And to me, for New York, I spend a lot of time, I don't live there, I live in Kentucky, but I spend a lot of time there. And to me, it's a story about the NYPD. And obviously we had an officer here, and they're about to have a mayor's race. They're about to elect somebody in New York City who has said, we don't need an investigation to know that the NYPD is racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety. What we need to do is defund the NYPD. So
You're talking about Mamdani.
I'm talking about Mamdani.
Yeah.
Tragic day. People are dead. The police show up and put themselves in harm's way. And there is the leading candidate for mayor. That's what they think about the NYPD. So I think it's a day to mourn the victims, and it's a day for New York to think about its future. Because in Mamdani's worldview, the police are the problem, not the shooter, not the people who are walking in and committing the violence. He says violence is just sort of a made-up construct anyway. And so my view is, for New Yorkers, I would think long and hard about what kind of mayor you want when these kinds of people exist and these kinds of things happen. Do you want somebody who hates the police this much?
Question is, how could this have been prevented? Right? How could this have been prevented? Tom, your thoughts on this? Could this have been prevented? The guy's literally walking with an AR-15. How do you not spot him? Where's the security? Look at that. He doesn't look like he's running. He looks like he's strolling, right?
He also doesn't look white.
Yeah.
The
Possibly
furthest,
white.
possibly.
Yeah, a couple things here, and I'll go straight to your question. Pat, you and I have been to many insurance companies, reinsurance companies, and large businesses, investment firms in New York. And it shocks me that it's only about 50-50. When you go into the front lobby, there is actually security where you have to check in. Who are you going to see? Oh, we're going to go up to the 30th floor, and we're going to see this company. Great. Let me see an ID. Let me take a picture of you. That's only about half the time. The other half the time, you have usually a person in a blazer that simply says, oh, it's 30th floor. You'll go to the second elevator bank.
Right.
And it really shocks me how that in New York, they haven't hardened the target, as they say. Harden the target through multiple perimeters of security. How does he, and I'm sure we'll find out, walk in and get into an elevator and then get up to the 30th
But
floor?
Tom, just can you do me a favor, Rob? Zoom in that picture. How many people? There's a guy to his left, to his right. Count the number of people. Go back right behind him. These are the people he walked past. Two over there. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to the left. How does he keep going?
And mind you,
12,
Pat,
13.
Mind you, he hasn't started. I just from a military whatever. He doesn't look like he's shot. He hasn't shot yet. He's just strolling.
Vinny, it doesn't
and not
matter.
paying
New
attention.
York is a state where you can't have guns. We one time had an RV we bought, and I lived in it for 30 days. We went from L.A. to Miami to Toronto, back to San Francisco, back to L.A. When we went to New York, we're going through the, what do you call it, the security checkpoint to go to Toronto, to go to customs. Guy comes in. He says, you guys got any guns? I said, yes. We have a 9mm and we have a shotgun. You guys have a 9mm and a shotgun? Yes. My son is with me. Tico's 2.5 years old. So we walk through the border and we go to Toronto. We turn around, we come back. One of the guys who you know very well, he was there with us last night, by the way. Okay, you know who I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
When we come back, they got guns pointed at the RV. We opened the door. We said, what are you doing? Let me see those guns. Whose shotgun is it? I said, the shotgun's mine. Whose gun is it? The gun is the other guy's. The other guy got arrested, went to jail in Buffalo. So you're a state that's against this behavior. Like if in Texas you walk around with something, all right, cool. If in Florida you walk around, if you're in Idaho, this is flipping New York. And it's in broad daylight. How does somebody not say, hey, bro, what are you doing? There's a cop. There's a shooter. How is that reaction not happening? He's not hiding it. You mean to tell me he hid that in his pants and nobody saw when he walked up? How do you hide that thing in your pants? It's not a 9mm. It's not a small little pistol. That's a massive weapon he's carrying. No one sees it. No camera detects it. There's too many questions for it. Adam, your thoughts on this story?
So this is the second tragic shooting that has occurred in New York in the last 6 months. When was the Luigi thing? Maybe a little bit longer than that. And the reason I'm bringing that up is, do you remember what the left did to basically celebrate and honor Luigi Mangione after he killed the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson? They basically gave him a shout out and they did a lookalike contest to basically adorn this person as if he's a hero of the far left. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about the New York mayoral race, Eric Adams potentially, obviously, versus Mamdani. The left wants this. I'm wondering, the far left in New York, who basically brought Mamdani to the forefront of the mayor election, how they feel about something like this. Because when you have a mayor who's a proud communist, socialist, what's the difference, and alleged Islamist, and he's saying defund the police, he's basically saying free everything, how is this going to change the race in New York? That's my number one thing. Because if we know anything in America, this shooting's here today, gone tomorrow. How is this going to change? Because I received multiple text messages from friends in New York. Hey, are you okay? What's going on? They said this is going to change the race dramatically. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, Scott, question for you. New York.
Yeah.
First of all, a lot of people are surprised that a guy like Mamdani is getting the kind of momentum that he is. He just got back from, I think he got married in Uganda. I don't know where he was that he got married. AOC comes and welcomes him and maybe even joins him on the way back, the wedding that took place. Yeah, that's the wedding right there that took place. I want to say they got married in Uganda. Yes. New York, is he getting the momentum that he's getting where he's leading everybody in the polls because the alternatives are not strong? Adams, Andrew, Chris. Is it because New York has just gotten far left? Is it because he is that good and exciting? Is it because the help of AOC and others? Why do you think he has the kind of momentum that he's got?
Well, I think in the primary, he was floated along. It's funny. He pretends. I mean, he's kind of an actor. He's eating rice with his hands. He's playing a character in some ways.
He's doing different accents.
But he comes from a wealthy family, and anyway, he sort of got all these extremely wealthy white liberals excited about his campaign. It's interesting. Cuomo in the primary actually did better among people with lower incomes, minority voters. He did better. White liberals got Mamdani the nomination. So now he's in this situation where he's running against multiple people. So you have a fragmented field, and he's sitting at between 39 and low 40s, but against a fragmented field, that's enough. And so ultimately, I think if you want to beat this guy, they're going to have to decide one alternative. That's the question. If he ends up running against a bunch of other people, he's probably going to win. Now, I agree with you. Will people look at this and say, whoa. We cannot have a mayor who not only wants to defund the police, but clearly hates the police. Right. I mean, it's a dangerous world, and New York City is a magnet for dangerous people. Can you have a mayor who believes what he believes about the police?
Pat, you interviewed Mayor Adams 2 weeks ago, I want to say. And he said, listen, we haven't given New York the opportunity to really hear their voice. Only 9% of New Yorkers voted in the primary, the other 91%. He was also a police officer, I want to say. I think.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
What's your takeaway from someone like this, sitting down with Mayor Adams, understanding what Mamdani's talking about?
Well, Mamdani tweeted something, and he said, Officer Islam was one of the 4 people killed in yesterday's horrific shooting, a Bangladeshi immigrant who joined NYPD 4 years ago. He lived in parked his chair with his pregnant wife, their 2 young children, and his elderly parents. When he joined the police department, his mother asked him why would he do this dangerous job. He told her it was to leave behind a legacy with his family. And he has done that and many more. I pray for him, his family, and the honor of the legacy and sacrifice he leaves behind. Okay, very nice message that he puts on there. Was the police officer Muslim? I'm curious. Is the Darul Islam Muslim?
Bangladeshi.
I mean, if you got a last name like that,
Islam.
but we had a president, middle name Hussein, and he wasn't Muslim,
Yeah.
allegedly.
Well,
So
allegedly he
I wanna,
wasn't.
I want to make sure, yes, he was
Most
Muslim.
likely.
Okay. So would he have done the same thing if the guy wasn't Muslim? I don't know. We don't know that. Going back to Mayor Adams.
Yeah.
The challenge with me was when I sat down with Mayor Adams. I was talking about this with a couple guys yesterday at the cigar lounge. I don't know why he didn't open up. You know, you come to a show like this, you have an audience that you can talk to from maybe a side that you're not a part of. Talk to them. Don't give the same one-liners you're giving 7 times. Talk to me. Speak to me. You know, you sit with somebody where sometimes in sale, you teach somebody all the objections, okay? Is this a good time to buy property? Well, if you're thinking about buying a property for 10 years, there's never a bad time to buy a property. So wouldn't you agree that this is a good time to, okay, you sound, what do you call it? Like you're mechanical, like the way you're giving your answer,
Robotic.
right? Robotic, yeah. So do you think about, you know, my wife and I, should we sell our home right now or should we wait till the interest rates lower because maybe we can make an additional $200,000? Well, you never know what's going to happen if, God forbid, a hurricane season comes and your property value could drop 30%. It's all scripted. So it's tough to relate somebody that's constantly speaking in a scripted way, scripted fashion. Having said that, it is still early. The voting's not going to be till November. I don't know if this is going to be a big reason of New Yorkers are going to flip to the other side or not. I don't know. I don't know if New Yorkers are going to sit there and because in order for this to happen, Scott, my opinion, someone's got to capitalize and tell the story the right way. Who has in the last 24 hours? Has Scott gone viral? Has Andrew gone viral? Has Chris gone viral? Whose story have we been following that's gone viral? Who is telling us this perspective in a way in New York where we're saying, oh, he's got a good point. I don't know about any of it. I'm in this space. I follow some of this stuff. I haven't heard anybody run with it. Flip this. If the story was the other way, how quickly would the left have used the story like this? Like this, they're on top of it.
If it was the other way?
Yeah,
for sure. They would double down on this.
In terms of skill set in this primary, Mamdani clearly gets the new
by a mile
communications ecosystem.
Yes.
I mean, if you saw anything Cuomo did in the primary, even since then, I mean, it is like straight out of the 1980s political playbook, mechanical, scripted, low tech. And so one of the disadvantages of all of his opponents is they suck at this right now.
Yeah.
And they don't really have the expertise. He has used the new communications ecosystem to his advantage. Now, you read his statement, fine. My view is the real Mamdani is what he has been saying on social media for years. I interviewed on my radio show last week a reporter named Olivia Reingold from the Free Press. She read all 16,000 of his
she's incredible.
tweets.
Yeah, I saw her.
She said,
Yeah.
Do you believe he's radical? Believe me, I read his tweets. The man is a radical. He is a committed socialist. He does not believe in private property. He really doesn't like the police. I mean, you should read her article in the Free Press. She read every single thing he's ever written. The truest thing about this man is that he's a socialist who hates the police and he hates private property. Whatever he puts out now in the heart of a campaign, this is not real. Of course, you got to say what he said today. That's what a campaign would do. Who's the real person inside? I think New York knows. I think they know, and they're going to find out here. Hopefully.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right, and they get after it. Go ahead, Tom.
There's some fast numbers. New York, this is a terrible tragedy. The officer that was lost, Wesley LePatner, who is with Blackstone Real Estate Trust. She was CEO there. The horrible human loss here that is the front page. On the second page, there is a case study in New York that you need to pay attention to, and it's Portland, Oregon. Portland wanted to defund the police. They backed off the police. They created this police-free zone. Remember, they had a word for it or a zone word for it. Yeah, downtown.
They also decriminalized all drugs.
Correct. And the mayor moved out of the city of Portland and was living far out because his door was vandalized. So he said, wow, this is kind of nerve-wracking. So he and his family went out. That's what started it. Now then, New York, listen clearly. On May 19th, not covered in the national media, not covered, there was polling that was done in Portland, and they Ready for this? 69% of voters polled wanted a ballot initiative to double the size of the Portland police as it is today. 69% want to see it doubled. Why? Because defund didn't work and it's unsafe. And those polling went across party lines and across socioeconomic lines. So New York, the case study is out there. Portland did defund things. They did kowtow to this whole mechanism that was there. And you know what they got? They got a house of horrors. And right now...
The question is, Tom, there's so many different stories of socialism, of not working, and it keeps reappearing itself by young 25, 30, 33-year-olds who are selling this romanticizing socialism, how amazing it could be, how terrible cops are, all these other things. Vinny, where are you at with this?
Well, first of all, if Mamdani was in charge, no cops would have showed up. Whether the response for the NYPD was amazing. They were jumping over cars and bushes to try to get to this guy, and he took his own life. And allegedly, he shot himself in the chest so his brain could be saved for studying because he says he had CTE, football. But he was in high school football. That being said, but if Mamdani was the mayor, there'd be less cops because he wants to hire social workers. People would have been there like, hey, think about your feelings as you're shooting 6-7 people. Think about it. But I think one thing that we kind of just brushed over, and maybe Scott, you could kind of help us because you're there. CNN made sure that they said the shooter was possibly white before any facts were confirmed. Okay, they could have waited, but they didn't. And because add possibly white, they chose to do that and I think this is my opinion. Maybe you guys can all help me out because it primes the audience to to view the story through a specific racial lens that aligns with their narrative, pushing America like this is the violence of America. It's always white. They could have said possibly black. If it was, they would have waited, but they go to possibly white. Why? Because Scott, I see this happening all the time. They always jump to that narrative. White.
What do you think about that, Scott?
And if it's not, sorry, Pat, and if it's not, and they know that he's definitely not, if it's like a Muslim guy, or if it's a black guy, and they just don't want to say it, they always go to the white narrative. Why is that?
Well, I think in a chaotic news story, details can change really quickly. I'm not on the news gathering side, I should just say, and I wasn't there last night. But obviously, he's not white, and
by a long shot.
And so there is a danger in reporting even possible details before you really have a handle on it. And obviously, in a chaotic situation like this,
I want to get to the next story here. I want to go to Powell, Rob. If you want to pull up the clip, so Jerome Powell got a visitor. And this visitor is kind of a big deal of a guy, pretty powerful guy named Donald J. Trump shows up to kind of see what's going on with the federal building. And it's one of the most awkward moments he's had with anybody else. And he says, wow, so you guys spent how much money on this? Well, you spent, no, it's $3.1 billion. No, it's not. No, it's not. Rob, can you play that first clip of them two together, if you know which one I'm talking about? This is Jerome Powell having a visit by President Trump with their hard hats, looking amazing. I'm sure the president loves wearing that hard hat. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Rob.
Went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
I noticed that at about 3.1 as well.
3.1,
3.2. This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
This came from us.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added.
Entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work. So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use. But no, we don't. We expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along.
His hair is still perfect. Look at that. Bam.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not in.
Hey, Scott, what's going on here?
Also, they took a screenshot of that and put it on the front page of the Wall Street Journal of Trump standing there with Powell in the hard hat. I mean, just an iconic. I don't think he's going to fire Powell, actually. He's got like 8 months to go. I think he's just going to spend every day making him as miserable as possible for the next 8 months. I don't think he's going to fire him. But misery is what's going on. But honestly, look, there's been a lot of debate about these numbers. I've followed this guy and have known him for years, a guy named Mark Paoletta, who's with the Office of Management and Budget, at Mark Paoletta on X. So after all this back and forth, he tweets out the actual document showing the number. Trump was right. Trump was right about the cost and the cost overruns here, and Powell's trying to dispute it. And
who tweeted this with
Mark,
the numbers?
His guy's name's Mark Paoletta. And
how do you spell his last name?
Paoletta. Mark Paoletta.
That
Just
guy
at
right
Mark
there?
Paoletta. Yep. And so if you look at his posts,
Go a little bit lower. It's a chart.
Yeah, it's a chart, and he's like, here's the actual documents, because Democrats kind of went crazy about this, but he actually has the facts. And so Trump showed up over there, I think mostly to make Powell miserable, but also to tell the American people he's got an eye on what's going on in the government and how much money we're spending over there. So anyway.
So he was right about the $3.1 billion.
Yes.
So a part of this, Tom, I mean, Scott, has got a point that he's just trying to get under skin. Maybe he's trying to push him to want to resign.
Yeah, keep going there. If you keep going. Yeah, right there. Yeah. There it is.
Okay, so zoom in.
Oh, man, receipts are so inconvenient.
Yeah, but if you read his post, you can see it.
Go read his post, Rob. Close that. Let's read his post. I can see what he's saying. If you can, there you go. If you can zoom in a little bit. You're absolutely wrong, Norma Ornstein. Trump 45 had nothing to do with Federal Reserve Jerome Powell's on $1 billion cost overrun. 2022 budget was $1.4 billion for the current building in 1951 Constitution Avenue construction project, and it was adopted in November 2021. By 2025, the FRB budget shows cost for his project are now $2.5 billion, a more than $1 billion cost overrun for the current project, an 88% increase. This all came after Trump 45 and on Biden's watch. Final project was approved in September 2021. Do some research before spewing your despicable lies and smear. Tim Scott is a superb senator and patriot. He is right to press Jerome Powell on his outrageous mismanagement. President Trump was 100% correct in his numbers. The cost for the project is now $3.1 billion. This includes the, how do you pronounce that word? Eccles, Martin, and 1951 building, which are all part of the comprehensive overhaul and all listed on the FRB. Go a little bit lower, Rob, to see that 3.1. There you go.
Yeah, Paoletta, by the way, he's the general counsel at the Office of Management and Budget. This is one of the smartest lawyers in Washington, D.C. He works for Russ Vought. You do not want to argue about the receipts with Mark Paoletta. I'm just telling you, I've known this guy for years.
So he's that guy.
He's that guy.
So, Tom, is this $3.1 billion of upgrades to the building, or is it a brand spanking new building they're building?
Well, there's a little bit of a debate on that. Basically, when you have government buildings that get completely refurbished, like you go back and the whole Capitol Dome was completely refurbished, but it's the bones of our historical buildings usually stay intact, and we do tremendous renovation to them. And when you read about all the renovations that are being done here, there are elevators that go up to like one office. They go up to a certain private office. And so there's a variety of things that go in there that you say to yourself, as American, do we really need all this for the Fed? But this is the historic buildings in Washington. And let's face it, it costs more to renovate them than a typical building because we're not tearing anything down. You're sort of cleaning out and then building from the inside out. Now, I haven't seen the great detail on it, but I trust OMB. OMB is usually... You typically have good, patriotic, individuals that are giving the media and the citizen the straight scoop out of OMB, and I believe that's what's happening here. And so what you have here is a complete rebuild, and that was very disingenuous what Powell said. I'm usually appreciative of Powell's measured thing, but it'd be like him saying, well, it didn't cost $100,000 to paint the White House, it only cost $50. Wait a minute. Well, the other 50 was the West Wing. The West Wing's part of the White House, dude. It's like part of it. It's like trying to say, you see what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, no,
but
honey.
Is this $3.1 billion of upgrades, or is it a new building?
Rebuild and upgrades of the existing building.
But nothing new. That's the question.
No, the whole inside is going to be very, very new, but all the outside.
But this is not a brand spanking new building they're building.
No.
Okay, can you go to Apple's headquarters, Rob?
The outside of the Fed will still look like the outside of the Fed.
Headquarters, $5 billion. Okay.
I love this.
Apple headquarters, $5 billion. So let me get this straight. Go to images if you could. Just go to images and let's see the headquarters. That ridiculous headquarters cost them $5 billion to make.
Exactly.
And by the way, that has roughly 12 to 15,000 people working there. It's a free market company, right? It's a publicly traded company. $5 billion. This is the most expensive headquarters ever built, but it's a new build. And by the way, there's about 12 to 15,000 people that work there. I believe the building that they're updating and upgrading, only 2,800 people work in that building at $3.1 billion of upgrades. Like, what are you adding to it? Even the second most expensive headquarters that was built, if I'm not mistaken, I saw this yesterday, was Goldman Sachs, the new one in New York. We were there just a few months ago. That's a 44-story one for $2.1 billion, okay? Then you have a couple other one that was done. Devon PNC did one for $400 million. How the hell are you spending $3.1 billion for a Federal Reserve building upgrade?
I think it happens two ways. Nobody usually goes broke taking a contract with the Department of Defense or the federal government. They're ripe with corruption, and these contracts are usually quite bloated. And so, number one, I'd be willing to take a look at it if you had an independent auditor that took a look at exactly what you're talking about and looked at the price per square foot and what you're doing. And I think what you're going to find is just a horrible gouge of the American taxpayer to rebuild basically the inside of the Fed and the kind of contracts that go with it. And if he thinks it's bad, if he thinks he's having a bad day, he's about to be in the news having an even worse day, because around 4 p.m. tomorrow, Trump's going to be on his butt again because he's going to announce he's not lowering interest rates tomorrow.
You don't think he will tomorrow?
No, I don't think he will at all tomorrow. Everybody wants a quarter point. They say there's some unemployment issues, there's things going on. Other people say, inflation and the stock market and other things seem to point to other things. So they're probably going to stand pat until September 18th, 19th or something. And if he does that, he's going to go from being in the news for this to tomorrow Trump on him all over again.
I think a lot of government buildings are old, and I fully buy that there needs to be renovations of them because they're not secure, they got asbestos, they need new whatever. I get that. But I think this is a story about management. So you say we're going to renovate this. And who's actually managing the day-to-day, line-by-line details of it? You know, Trump is a builder. He's built things, he's renovated things, he's refurbished things. And I think the story here is the official Washington, the people in official Washington who you would trust to manage a project like this, functionally have no interest in managing it, have no idea how to manage a project like this, and all of a sudden, voila, it's $3.1 billion. And so to me, this is another story about the rejection that the American people put on official Washington twice with Trump, which is to say, we don't really trust how you manage things, so we bring in somebody from the outside who has this looks like a business guy to us. And to me, that's the optics of this. A guy who knows how to manage things shows up and talks to a guy who clearly didn't pay that close of attention to it. And all of a sudden, we got $3.1 billion on a sheet here.
So when you're going through this, Adam, I'm going to come to you. On this story, you'll hear, Powell pushes back on Trump's cost claim, which we just watched right now. Then you see Trump pats him in the back, right? I don't know if you've seen that one, and he puts his tongue out. Is this the one, Rob?
Yes.
Go ahead, Rob. Watch this.
Are there things the chairman can say to you today that would make you back off some of the earlier criticism?
Well, I'd love him to lower interest rates. Other than that, what can I
knock
tell
them
you?
over.
So very
Trump
simple.
being Trump.
I'd love him
Broke
to
his hip.
lower interest rates. Other than that, it's all good. And then later on, Powell says they were honored by Trump's tour of the building site. They were honored. Adam, is this Trump sitting there saying shit? It's like a CEO having a 5-year contract on an employee or a 3-year contract on an employee, finding a way to leave him, have him leave independently on his own without firing him to pay unemployment. It's kind of like, look, man, if you don't do this, you're going to get investigated for fraud, for spending all this money on this property you shouldn't have done. It's either you're going to be investigated for fraud and your legacy is going to look like shit, or number two, step out the way and let me put Besant or whoever else is going to be in place of you. Which one do you think it is?
Well, when the cameras are rolling, Jerome Powell is completely out of his league next to Donald Trump. Because why? Donald Trump is a pig. And what do I mean by that? They say never wrestle with the pig because you're both are going to get dirty and the pig loves it. Trump, when he goes live on air and he has someone sitting next to him, there's no telling what he's going to say, no saying what he's going to do. We saw what he did with Zelensky. He don't have the cards. He dressed him down, Zelensky. But they don't know what to do. You saw when the South African president showed up and he's like, yeah, you're doing a white genocide. Let's take a look. Roll the tape. Whoa, what? Jerome Powell, just like that. Your favorite scene when you interviewed Trump and you talked about, I loved your real life sort of vlog when you had Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. And he's like, I'll own the government. Shut it down. I don't care about you. Sloppy Nancy and Sloppy Chuck. He doesn't give a shit. He will completely expose and just call out everybody live in effect, and he doesn't care how bad it makes him look himself.
The question is,
as long as the other person
here's
looks
the question,
bad.
Scott, is this going to work on Jerome Powell?
I hope it does. But let me tell you a story. I've written a book. It comes out in November. It's called Revolution of Common Sense. It's about Trump. It's about the first 100-something days. I interviewed Scott Bessent. And over Bessent, I like him a lot. All-star.
Yes.
Over his desk, there is a picture of Abraham Lincoln. I said, is that your favorite Republican? He said, no. Teddy Roosevelt. He said, have you ever read about Teddy Roosevelt? The people who knew him and who wrote about him, they said he could walk into a room and just overwhelm you with his personality. That's Trump. Bessent is telling me in this story that he has seen Donald Trump in interpersonal situations absolutely overwhelm people with his interpersonal ability. And so when I see him doing this thing with Powell, I think he does it with congressmen. I think he does it with senators. I think he does it with people he wants to influence. You get in the proximity of this guy, and he kind of overwhelms you. Now, I don't know if it's going to work on Powell. So he's either going to be overwhelmed and cut rates, or he's going to be embarrassed and humiliated for the next 8 months. Either way, that's what, to me, that is part of the innate talent of Trump, is the ability to overwhelm you. And the analog to this, according to Scott Bessent, is Teddy Roosevelt.
And by the way, Teddy Roosevelt, one of the great stories, he had such a tough life with all the losses he had in his personal life. For him to be who he became later on, it's one of the best stories we have in America. But, yeah, I mean, Wall Street Journal says the story, right? That Trump perfects the art of making powerful people squirm on camera. Rob, do we have a clip on this?
It's kind of what Adam had alluded to, the 3 clips of the South African president, Zelensky, and then what he just did with Jerome Powell.
How long is that, by the way? Is it a long clip or is it a short clip?
I can play you a short clip.
Yeah, let's see which one you got.
This is him with Zelensky, where he checks Zelensky and tells him, you're going to get us into World War III.
Go for it. Let's see this one.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right.
I love his
There's something very annoying about Zelensky. There's something very annoying about Zelensky about how he plays these cards. Trump is very good at doing this. But let's get to the next story here. Because of all of these stories, Wall Street Journal drops another story. A poll. Democrats' approval rating craters to 35-year low.
Wow.
Not a 5-year low, not a 10-year low. We're talking about a 35-year low.
And they're not even in charge right now.
How much
crazy?
worse can it get than this? Normally, when somebody takes office, their rating goes lower and you have an opportunity to come up.
Yeah.
Not for Democrats.
Yep.
Normally, I mean, he has all this stuff that's going on with Epstein. The polls keep favoring him more and more and more. And so the poll comes out, revealed that 63% of registered voters view Democrats unfavorably compared to 33% with a positive impression, marking the lowest since 1990, while Trump's approval rating stands at 46, disapproval at 52, higher than the 40% at this point in his first term. Republicans' approval rating is net 7 points unfavorable, and if election were held today, 46% would back a Democrat versus 43% for Republican. Democratic pollster John Anzalone, who helped conduct the survey, said the Democratic brand is so bad that they don't have the credibility to be a critic of Trump or the Republican Party. Let me read this quote to you one more time, folks. The Democratic brand is so bad that they don't have the credibility to be a critic of Trump. You don't have no moral authority to say anything bad about Trump or the Republican Party today. Voters trust Republicans over Democrats on inflation by 10 points, immigration by 17 points, handling illegal immigrants by 17 points. Though they disapprove Trump tariffs by 17 points, which we'll get to that here in a minute, with Republicans still scoring 7 points higher than Democrats on that issue, Anzalone stated, until they reconnect with real voters and working people on who they're for and what their economic message is, they're going to have problems. Scott, thoughts on the story?
Well, Democrats, because of the Biden presidency, because they lied about Joe Biden's condition, because they lied to the country about the inflationary impacts of his policies, have dug themselves the deepest hole they've ever been in the history of their party. That's number one. Number two, cultural radicalism. I mean, when the hills you're willing to die on are boys and girls sports, paying for transgender surgeries of inmates, which Kamala Harris had in the last election. When you're willing to die on these hills, when you're willing to go and say Maryland man unfairly deported back to his home country, I mean, when you're willing to die on all these 80-20 hills, eventually your approval rating will wind up, I'm no mathematician, but around 20.
Yeah, exactly.
They're getting there. And so this hole they've dug themselves in, like if I can't trust you not to put a boy in my daughter's locker room, why would I talk to you about taxation policy or inflation or tariffs or anything else? You're trying to put a boy in my girl's locker room.
That's right.
Why? And so I agree with Anzalone. By the way, he's a serious pollster. He's been around the Democratic Party forever. This is a serious guy. He's got it dead right. They have no credibility to criticize.
Is he a liberal himself? Or
yes, he is one of the most sought-after Democratic pollsters. The Wall Street Journal poll, they get a Democrat and a Republican, two serious people. They do the poll together. Anzalone knows Democrats. He knows campaigns, and what he said right there is dead right.
Wow.
Dead right. He is a serious guy.
By the way, when you look at this, Scott, question for you. So this is the net favorability of each party, right? Tom, I need your help on this one here. Up until 2004, if you look at four, for the most part, both of them are positive, right? And then all of a sudden, Republicans fall. That's obviously under Bush. Obama gets a little bit of a spike in 08, and then he starts falling. And then Biden has a massive crash. And Republicans since 2006 have relatively stayed at that negative 10 number, if you look at that. But what is the difference that caused this go from being positive, everybody was positive, then all of a sudden everybody being negative? How did that happen? Tom, what would you say?
Well, there's two things. There's an erosion of Americans' trust in government. And so when you talk about net favorability of each party, you say, how many of you favor, how many of you unfavor, and what's the difference there? So the Republicans have had a minus 10% favorability. And if you take a look at the core of it, goes in, it started crashing like 04, which is basically Bush's second term, and then stayed down when Obama was elected in 8, reelected in 12, and then only recently did the lines cross. But you take a look at what happened. Starting with Obama's reelection, the Democrat unfavorability, as the average voter is finding out what it really means and what they stand for, putting a boy in my daughter's locker room, what really doesn't work economically. The story of the chart is that even though people have eroded trust of the Republican Party, it has stayed level and picked up just a tick since Obama. However, starting with Obama, the Dems dropped below the line in 08. See that, Pat?
Yeah.
And went, and look at the plummet, because it doesn't work. The Bernie side, the AOC side, the Marxist side, the DEI side does not work, and it's leading to these high negatives. And I have a lot of respect also for Anzalone. He's one of the ones I read and I respect. Also respect Mark Mitchell over at Rasmussen. Mark knows what he's doing, and they're seeing the same things. They're seeing the same things. And they're also seeing that you can't look at parties uniquely like this. You have to peel back a little bit. And on issues, the real story is what you read on the issues, is issue by issue, Americans trust Republicans by 10 points on inflation, by 17 points on immigration, by 7 points on tariffs. What else is there, right? So what is eroding it? If the Republicans are leading on that, what is happening here? What's happening here is all of the DEI and the woke fallout has crushed the Democrat Party. Now, we've got a year to pull a madman, like the candidate in New York, I call him Madman, and flip the script using the tools of modern communication. What did you call it? The
modern communications ecosystem.
Yeah, the modern communications ecosystem, where you step away from cable, you step away the dominance of 4 channels on TV. Podcasts matter, opinions matter. So many other things are bringing it out. You still have a year for that, and we've seen with Mandami what can happen, Pat, in a short time with the voting. But we got a year to where this gets serious. Next August 1st is where it really gets serious, because everybody that you read about on pollsters will tell you August 1st to October 1st next year is where the independents will move and choose as we go into midterms.
We'll see what will happen. Adam, your thoughts on this?
The Democratic Party is a sinking ship. And I'm just so glad that I jumped off it a couple of years ago. I was on it for a little while, Scott. It was a bumpy ride. It was funny. We were at dinner last night. Thank you for a great dinner, PBD. And we ran into Roger Stone, and you're shaking Roger Stone's hand, and Vinny and Roger are doing their, pleasantries. And he said, "Hey, Adam," he goes, "this guy right here is the biggest Donald Trump fan out there." I was like, "Me?" And the reason I know he's joking about that is because once you sort of switch teams and you see what that team was, you're so disgusted by what's going on over there that you can't help but just like, look at these idiots over here. And what I'm starting to see is my Democratic
Jamie
friends.
Dimon called them idiots.
Yeah, Jamie Dimon said the following. He said they have big hearts and little brains. And that's what I've experienced. They say when you're young, if you're not a liberal, you have no heart. If you're older and if you're not a conservative, you have no brain. Jamie Dimon is in the thick of things.
He couldn't
say
this 5 years ago.
No, exactly. And Trump winning has given people a lot of cover to really say the truth. And then I think that's what's going on here. The number one thing that I think, in my opinion, I go around, I've said this a million times, go around giving people American flags. Very few people say, "No, I don't want one." And take a guess who does not want an American flag.
Democrats.
It is the super liberal Democrats who don't want to be caught looking like they love America. Say what you want about Trump and the Republican Party.
That, Adam. I love that you do that. Let me tell you. You have, whenever I'm running, you're giving people that American, that's your thing, that's your shtick. I freaking love that you do that because it's a great case study to see how people react. Scott, your thoughts?
So my comment on what you said is 2 years ago you joined the Republicans. I think in the last 2 to 5 years, really since Trump, but really recently, his branding of the Republican Party as common sense versus, what's the alternative? Uncommon nonsense. Yeah. He has scrambled the ideological deck. It's not really just conservative versus liberal anymore. It's not really just Republican versus Democrat. It's for him, and he talked about it at the inaugural, it's just common sense versus the alternative. And a lot of people who never thought of themselves as Republicans, who never voted, who rarely voted, who don't think of themselves as caring about politics at all, who wouldn't want to be called Democrat or Republican, they love to be behind the guy. Well, that's just a common sense thing.
Yep.
The branding that he put on this is genius because it makes your coalition more elastic. You can bring people in, non-political people who don't want to be caught up in the normal red-blue.
Of course.
They love common sense. And that's what he's selling. And by the way, if you look at the polling, it's working. He's got a common sense view on immigration. He's got a common sense view on cultural, radicalism. He's got a common sense view on, well, maybe it would be better if we had tariff policy that was advantaging American workers and not foreign countries. These are common sense concepts. You don't have to be steeped in conservative ideology to go, oh yeah, that sounds right to me. Common sense.
Scott,
beautiful.
When did you flip? Because, Daily Show did a nice little hit piece on you and basically saying that you were very critical of Trump at one point. Just like J.D. Vance, just like myself, just like a lot of other people. What caused you to flip?
Well, I voted Republican my whole life, and I did vote for him 3 times. But like everybody else, I didn't get it. I mean, I've readily admit I did not get it. I did not understand it. I did not get how this guy who hadn't been a Republican was coming along to take over the Republican Party. I did not get it. And so over time, I began to realize what he was doing. And I also began to realize the choice. And, in 2024, for me, there was Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, the idea of common sense versus whatever it is she was selling. And so plus his opposition, the reflexive nature of his opposition to hate and try to delegitimize him on everything he does, I think is terrible for American. They're rooting. You wear that pin? They're rooting against America.
Yeah.
On the tariffs, all April, they were hoping it would fail.
Imagine that.
They're hoping it would fail.
America.
On Iran, when we bombed the missile sites. What's the first thing that happened? We got to impeach him.
Yeah,
he didn't do that much damage.
Yeah.
The immediate delegitimization of this guy. Every time he does something, they root for America's failure. So does he everything he does, do I like? No politician I'm 100% all the time. But I'll tell you this, I like it that he roots for America. And I hate it that they root against America just because he did it.
Bingo.
And I think that's why a lot of people are fine with it.
Let me ask you a follow-up on this, because forget about regular people. Talk about the people that you sit down with every single day. I'm going to assume they're not fans of Donald Trump.
No.
Starting with Abby Phillips all the way down that cast of characters. Do they hate Trump? Do they not love America? You're arguing with these people left and right. What is the common thread with most of these people?
Oh, I think for the left, for the ideological left, the motivating issue for them, and this is the core of the Democratic platform. If Trump is for it, we're against it. If he decided to do something, it inherently must be wrong. And every conversation is framed with that in mind. And so then you debate it out from there. But I think because they hate him personally, all decisions he makes must therefore be attacked or stated that it's going to somehow lead to America's downfall. Tax cuts, tariffs, judges, immigration policy, everything he ever does. Think about the apocalyptic language they use to describe everything. And it doesn't really turn out that way. Tax cuts were good for America. Turns out controlling the border means you can't actually close the border. It turns out the tariffs do give you leverage in trade negotiations. And so I just think it's a personal disposition. They hate this guy. Most of the people I debate with, they hate this guy.
Have you moved anybody?
Have I moved anybody?
Have you moved anybody? A little bit.
On those
anybody's
panels?
like, your friends.
I think I have made points that people say, I hadn't thought of that. But you have to understand, I'm debating people who fundamentally see the world differently than I see it. And look, I come from Kentucky. I'm a lifelong Republican. I'm a conservative. They don't come from middle America. They're lifelong liberals. And they also carry and harbor this personal hatred for Trump. And when that sort of colors your thinking about policy, you can see where the debates go.
Rob, can we see a clip of this Daily Show going after Scott? I'm trying to see, how do you go after Scott?
Oh, man.
The 29-year-old wunderkind, part of a nefarious White House scheme to systematically fire disobedient U.S. attorneys.
Jennings declined to answer most questions in the face of sharp complaints from Democrats.
Senator, pursuant to the president's assertion, I must respectfully decline to answer that question at this time. I must respectfully decline to answer your questions. I'm going to have to decline to answer.
This is 3 days ago. Yeah.
Yeah, July 27th.
If you keep playing it, it'll get to the point right here.
Question. I'll have to decline to answer that.
Wow. Worst Jeopardy contestant ever. I mean, not the point, but
he's
his
wearing identically what you were wearing.
Jonah Hill hair. I mean,
look at his
pretty soon he's gonna get those arm tats and won't shut up about his therapist. We get it, Jonah. But that was the last time Jennings would ever decline to share his opinion, because he soon joined CNN, where he made a name for himself as a rare conservative voice who would openly attack Donald Trump.
He's clearly violated his oath of office to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. This is outrageous. It's beyond the pale. Every Republican ought to be able to say so. We need a new nominee. If we nominate him again,
what year is this, Scott? What year is this? All this going on?
The first stuff you saw was back when I worked for President Bush. Just as a quick history lesson, there was a kerfluffle in Washington about Bush's dismissal of some U.S. attorneys. It was a handful of them. I was a deputy to Karl Rove. And they subpoenaed several of us to talk about it. Karl did not show up at the hearing that day. I did. And the president gave me a letter to tell the Congress he was asserting executive privilege over my testimony. So what I did, I had to go there that day for several hours and effectively assert executive privilege over it. Ultimately, nothing really happened. Bush left office, and it all sort of went away. But it was a big kerfluffle in 2007.
Let me ask the other question. How much weight did you lose?
I've lost a lot of weight. I'll be honest. My weight's been up and down. I fought it my entire life. At my high point, I probably weighed 275 pounds. Today, I weigh about 178 pounds.
Holy shit! Good
100 pounds.
By the way, I don't even recognize you.
Yeah.
I don't even recognize you. Good for you for having done that.
The kids call it a glow up. You're glowing up now.
Yeah, but to be honest,
I fight it every day. I mean, I'm not unique in that, but it's a hard thing to do.
You know who else talked openly about it that way? Ethan Suplee. I don't know if you remember Ethan, but Ethan was a whole. Do you know who Ethan Suplee is? If you type in Ethan Suplee, you'll know who he is.
Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans.
Oh yeah,
of
course.
He's a complete different place.
Shout
but okay,
out to
all right. So while we're talking about this, Rob, can you go back to that poll? Just one thing for me to add to the poll of what do you call it?
Democrat lowest approval.
Right. When you look at that poll, if you look at the two biggest declines, if these were two stocks, look at the biggest drop-offs. One of them is after 9/11, okay, which is what? President Bush. And the other one is what? After COVID. Look at that decline after COVID. Massive drop-off. After COVID, the Democrats tried to fully go crazy with ideas. And the American people just said, I don't know if I'm going to go that wild with you. By the way, do you think the amount of people that are partyless, like they're not linked to any party today, do you think that's getting bigger? Or do you think some of the people are like, man, because it is negative, right? It's still negative. It's like, it's not like it's positive and the Republican Party went up or, you know, it's still in the negative. Do you think there's millions of people that are trying to find a party that they don't relate to?
I think there are more people who dislike politics, period, and they don't necessarily trust political institutions or either parties. I think the Republicans are in far better shape. But yeah, I think we have a growing number of people in this country who, you know, they just don't think of themselves as being party people. They might like an individual candidate. Obviously, there are people who love Donald Trump, but they just don't think of themselves as partisans. They think of themselves in some other way. And the Democrats, you mentioned COVID. It wasn't just COVID. It was COVID. But remember, the summer of 2020, the riots, the cultural sort of disposition that, you know, everybody else has to be locked in your house unless you're out protesting for a good reason. Then you're absolved somehow.
PBD, I want to give you a shout out because you pointed out something that we sort of just glossed over about how bad this is. Let me tell you how bad this is. In the last 35 years, the lowest any party has ever been is -20. And the Democrats are like, you know what? Hold my beer. We're about to go way lower than that. The Democratic brand is so tarnished, we've never seen a major party this low. The lowest the Republicans were after 9/11, before COVID with Trump.
What I'm asking is the following.
Yep.
I'm asking to see, Scott, for you that follows all these stories and the polls and everything that's going on, is there an appetite for a Musk America party? Like, remember when Ross Perot started the Reform Party when it got 18.4%, and then he ran again in 96 and he only got 8.4%? Are we at a place that we have an appetite for people to join the third party?
I don't think so. First of all, our system is not built for independent candidacies. But I would just tell you, I think we already lived through this. Trump was our independent moment. I think the way he won in 16 and the way he won in 24, when you look at the people who voted for him, yes, most Republicans, but his attraction of people who were not terribly political, didn't think of themselves as being Republicans or conservatives or had voted Democrat, I think they were attracted to him because they saw him as an independent actor, somebody who would not be hemmed in by any political party or any political system. I think we already lived through this. In my opinion, he's a Republican. He's had a Republican Party, but he is also, I think, for a lot of people, somebody who was external to the system and therefore represented an independent kind of attitude in Washington.
Vinny, you had one of these stories here that if this was under a different administration, God knows what would have happened to this. Do you remember the story of the doctor that was refusing to give COVID vaccine, and instead he was giving the patient
saline? He's a freaking hero. This guy.
What happened to him?
So Dr. Michael Kirk Moore Jr., he's a plastic surgeon from Utah. He was looking at 35 years in prison for refusing to play along with the COVID narrative. Okay, this guy literally said no to the government. Okay, and he and 3 other guys were accused, the doctors, of destroying over $28,000 worth of vaccine doses and giving out nearly 2,000 vaccine cards. But the truth, he wasn't giving out, fake anything. He was giving people a way out. So instead of jabbing them with this experimental drug that we know now is giving all these problems, turbo cancer up, myocarditis, sudden deaths are all the way up, and nobody really wants to talk about it. And especially kids, parents that didn't want to poison their kids. Pat, he was giving them a way out for them to go to school.
So so he would go to the doctor, your family would go to the doctor and say, look, I need the vaccine card, but can you please not give the vaccine shot?
And this guy would probably take it, dump the vaccine, but give them like a saline shot so it wasn't the actual vaccine.
How did he actually get caught? Rob, how did the guy actually get caught? Do we know?
I don't know how he got caught, but
sounds like he was indicted. I mean, if they dropped the charges, he had to.
He was about to do 35 years, but Pam Bondi stepped in mid-trial and just dropped the charges. They dropped the charges for this guy, and there's a video I sent Rob. Whenever you're done with that, Rob, Pat, it wasn't a.
So here's what we know: routine vaccine distribution monitoring. Utah Plastic Surgeon Center participant in the CDC federal vaccination program starting in October 2020. Investigation findings: law enforcement, HHS. Traced patterns where over $20,000 in government-supplied COVID-19 vaccine doses were destroyed.
Good.
Okay. Syringe down drains rather than injected, while at the same time nearly 1937 fraudulent CDC vaccination cards were being issued, saline injections and falsified procedures. I'm trying to find out how it happened, though.
How we got caught.
So, those who qualified paid $100 per card. Federal indictment, generally it's a co-defendant. January 11, 2023, charging conspiracy to defraud the United States. But was he making
He wasn't
money?
making
Anything?
No, he didn't profit from any of it. He just no, he had zero. He made money, zero money back. He was just standing on principle. And Rob has a video. Rob, can you play this video? He's on the steps. I don't know what courthouse he is outside, and it's such an emotional moment. Keep going, Robbie. Keep going. Oh damn! Did I send it to you, Rob? I think it's a little bit lower.
I don't think I have it. This is the only clip I have.
Oh, can you just play his name, Rob? And him. So he's on the steps and Rob, like clearly emotional. 35 years for just giving them a different option. The parents are like, "Yo, they won't let my kids go to school."
Which one
unless
is it?
This is
one?
it right here.
This is him?
Yep.
That audio.
Just seeing people I haven't seen in years come over and stand with us and support. It's unbelievable.
You can pause it, Rob. You can pause it, Rob. No, I mean,
it's like think about what while
this close of 35 years.
Oh my goodness! And mind you, he kept poison. Okay, what I feel about what the vaccine was. Out of kids, he gave parents a voice. He saved lives, and for that, they were trying to destroy him. With everything that we know with COVID, that is a hero. Not Dr. Fauci, which I just saw. Remember that?
What do you think about this? By the law, this is illegal by the law, what he did, right? I mean, to say like if somebody comes in, they're given vaccine, so you can be seen as a hero, but by law, it is illegal or no?
Well, yeah, a certain group of citizens in 1776 took up arms illegally against the crown. And so there have been points where citizens do extraordinary things. Now, in this case, and by the way, you'll find liberals that think that they're doing the right thing by violating a law on their side. We feel we're doing this because we feel we're oppressed. And what this guy did was he, in his heart, believed the vaccines were wrong, the mandate was wrong, and worse, medically speaking, he felt the efficacy wasn't there, and so he helped people get vaccine cards so that they could go to school, so that they could live and they could work.
Good for him.
And that's what he did. And then when you turn the pages of history, now you find out, the truth comes out that says, wait a minute, no way this guy should be prosecuted because we're unwinding all this. We're discovering the scandal and all this. And so the citizens that do something that is illegal, and it's just which way are the pages of history going to turn?
I'm only asking to say this guy did something believing it was, and it's not like he did something that harmed the body. The saline is not going to do anything
Absolutely
to your body.
nothing.
So
correct.
He was doing something because he believed to his core that you shouldn't be forced to do something.
Yes.
Correct.
I'm willing to bet he probably gave the vaccine to a lot of people that wanted it. And the people that went in who didn't want it, he says, no, I'm not going to give it to you because I'm going to give you the saline. That's my understanding.
That's correct. I will help you not do something.
So I go in and I say, Doc, I don't want the shot. Can you just give me something else so I can get my vaccination card? You know what? I'll give you the saline.
Yeah.
Doc, I want the vaccine. No problem. I will give you the vaccine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And think about this. A parent going, hey, listen, I don't trust them. Okay, Rob, can you find that video where remember when Fauci and that girl, I don't know if they were in Chicago going up to houses, and that black guy was like, man, I don't trust any of you guys. Imagine them going, hey, your kid can't come here, you can't come here, both of you. And this guy's like, listen, since we don't know the long-term effects of this, I'm going to give you guys
this
saline.
guy right here.
This was one of the, I watched this once a month.
Oh, this guy's great.
Is this Fauci door to door?
Information that's been given to us right now. So I'm not going to be lining up taking a shot or a vaccination for something that wasn't clear in the first place.
Look at this
and then
rat.
you all create a shot in miraculous time. It takes years to create vaccination.
Well, it used to take years.
Okay, it used to.
You know how many years were invested in this approach? About 20 years of science to get us to be able to do it.
20 years is not enough. And 9 months is definitely not enough for nobody to be taking no vaccination that you all came up with.
The only reason I'm talking to you right now, as close as we are, is that I've been vaccinated.
Right.
But if it allows thousands of people like you don't get vaccinated, you're going to let this virus continue to percolate in this country and in this world.
Something like the common flu then, right?
And not
It's
like
much
the
more
common
serious than the flu.
Well, the flu kills a lot of people annually, too.
You know how many people died of the flu the last year? I mean, not this year, virtually none, but the previous year, about 20 to 30,000. You know how many people have died from COVID-19 in the United States? 600,000 Americans.
Well, the number that you all giving that died, that's once again, that's you all's number.
You gonna pass?
Ooh,
perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Because when you start
America
talking
went
about
through this. America went through this together. And Scott, do you have any thoughts on this story with the doc?
Well, I think he was charged with destroying the vaccine, so there was some value associated with that. And then I guess when he gave the shots to the kids, even though the parents asked him to do it, it was like defrauding the United States to give the kid. Anyway, the charges were wrapped up in that. My view is that what we now know versus what we were told at the time is the reason that our trust in public health institutions has cratered in this country. I mean, we could not have destroyed confidence in our public health institutions more than we did. I mean, remember they were like nailing 2x4s up over basketball hoops. They were pouring sand on skateboard parks. They were arresting people who were walking alone on beaches.
Paddleboarding out in LA.
It was crazy. And so, except if you were willing to go outside and protest the current thing, you were absolved. That the virus. The worst thing we did was tell people that the virus had a political compass. Like the virus could tell if your politics were correct or not, and it would not afflict you if you were protesting the correct thing. So my view is what we did was wrong. What we did has cratered trust in public health, and we're going to be paying for it and digging out of this hole for a very long time, and people are right to be skeptical because everything we were told. Remember, the initial thing was if you get it, you can't transmit it.
Rachel Maddow.
And all these things we were told, it wasn't true. And at the time, these people had big titles. Fauci, they had huge titles. So, you're inclined to want to believe, the authorities on these things. Nothing they said.
I was one of those people that sort of trusted the science, allegedly. And then when I started to lose trust, it was when I said 100% effective.
Yeah.
99% effective. 90% effective. 50, you know what? We don't even know. But you know what was true? If you were going to dinner, and as long as you got to your table,
COVID left you alone.
Yeah.
COVID left you.
Yeah.
But if you were walking around, you had to put the mask on. It could have got you at any moment.
The worst part
table was home based though.
Yeah.
COVID didn't happen at dinner tables.
The worst thing we did was shut down the schools. When we shut down the schools, we destroyed a generation of children's education. We hurt their futures, and primarily they are the poorest kids, minority kids. These are the ones whose parents do not have the resources to tutor and get around it.
Homeschooling.
And we kept the schools closed well beyond the point where the rest of the civilized world was opening the schools, Europe and everyone else. We kept them closed at the behest of the teachers' unions. And we did it without giving a rip about what we were doing to these kids and their futures. And no one's ever been held accountable for it. I mean, this is a generational theft of opportunity, of wealth, of how your life could have turned out. We had your school closed. To me, the most criminal thing we did, close the schools. We kept them closed long past the point when we knew the truth, which was the kids were okay. The kids were okay.
And their immune, and Scott, this is what pisses me off. The children were the least needing of this freaking vaccine. So I want to ask you guys, as fathers, if you came in because you were sold and duped about this freaking poison that they were selling, now, in hindsight, if you had one of these kids that you found out this doctor gave them saline instead of this, wouldn't you be happy at this point? Wouldn't you say, wait a minute, he might have saved my kid from having myocarditis. He might have saved my kid from having a stroke, which the numbers don't lie, bro. The kids are sicker than ever. They're freaking turbo cancer, myocarditis. Pat, would you be pissed off? I'm really curious. Would you be pissed knowing now that this guy, probably in the moment, you're like, wait a minute, I wanted the vaccine. I wanted this in my kid, but you gave him saline. Now that you know, because the science, Mr. Fauci and his lying ass, now would you be like, wait a minute?
Yeah, those are two different things. The one is the guy sacrificed his career knowing he believed this wasn't good.
Yes.
Okay, so that's like the ultimate because he destroyed his career.
Yes.
What's he going to do now? I don't even know if he can still practice or not. Is he still a doctor? Did he lose his license to be a doctor? Do we know if he lost his license? Can you type in and say, did he lose his license? Lose his right to practice medicine? License or right to practice medicine? Did he? Let's see what it says. Because if it says no, let's see what the answer is here. Did not lose medical license and practice according to public records as of in July, when the federal government dismissed all charges, including actions against someone.
Good for him.
Okay, thank God he didn't. Yeah. But by the way, if Pam Bondi was some other person on the left, that person's going to jail. That person's going to lose their right to practice. How many lawyers do you know that lost their, ability to practice because somebody came and destroyed their careers and like, hey, give me your license. You can't practice anymore, right? So on that end, yes, as a parent at the moment, you're wanting this because you're so afraid with all the fear porn that everybody was selling you that in that moment, if you thought it wasn't real, you would have been very disappointed. Anyways, you ever seen the movie, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo?
Yes.
Is that the one where the guy puts something in her body to tell the truth and it's only saline and she's acting like she's like... who's in this movie outside of this girl?
It's not. It's Daniel Craig. No, I don't think it's this one.
Then what movie is that where the girl comes in? It's the guy from Enemy at the Gates. Whatever the guy's name is, the sniper from Enemy at the Gates.
Jude Law? Who's that?
I think it may. I don't know. There's a scene where the guy from Enemy at the Gates, that guy right there.
Jude Law.
Yeah. Jude Law is a doctor that gives saline to the girl. The girl acts like she has been given it, and then she starts talking, and then he says, listen, I never gave you the truth serum. I gave you saline. You're full of shit. That's kind of when he found out. So that's a different motive with this one. But, that was a very
Dr. Jonathan Banks?
Is that the movie? What movie that is. I got to find that scene. It's
Side Effects. Side Effects 2013.
Rob,
go to Side Effects 2013.
That's the one. That's the one. That's the movie. Yep. Good call.
Yep.
Yeah, she was a psychopath in this movie.
Yeah, she was.
And it's the whole story with the saline. But anyways, actually, it's worth watching. It's a dark movie if you like those kinds of movies. I know Adam does, but for some of you guys, you guys would enjoy.
She's a psychopath?
Yeah.
That's your kind of girl right there.
Yeah, if she's single, hit me up.
Yeah, that's right. Let me get to the next story here. Okay, Scott. Epstein. What angle can we take with the Epstein? So Trump challenges media to talk about Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, when discussing the Jeffrey Epstein. He's being interviewed. He's being asked about it. I think this is the clip, Rob, if you got it. Play this clip.
Well, I don't want to talk about that. What I do want to say is that Todd is a great attorney, but you ought to be speaking about Larry Summers. You ought to be speaking about some of his friends that are hedge fund guys. They're all over the place. You ought to be speaking about Bill Clinton, who went to the island 28 times. I never went to the island.
Do you maintain you did not write a letter for Jeffrey Epstein's birthday?
I don't even know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that's happened a lot. All you have to do is take a look at the dossier, the fake dossier. Everything's fake with that administration. Everything's fake with the Democrats. Take a look at what they just found about the dossier. Everything is fake. They're a bunch of sick people. Where did you see the people laying outside?
Right across.
What do you think, is going on with the Epstein? One moment they're going to release it. One moment they're not going to release it. We've been following the story very closely. We've been following what Epstein's background is closely, way before it became a story right now. How do you view the entire Epstein scandal?
A few things. One, I think Democrats got interested in this about 5 minutes ago, and it's apparent to people that it is completely cynical, political. They think they can use it to divide the president from his base. They have failed at that, by the way. There's a narrative that Republicans are mad at him. They're not. His numbers among Republicans have gone up since this story started. They like what he's doing. But that's the only reason Democrats are crying about this right now is because they think it's a political weapon. They don't care about the victims. They don't care about the human toll here. It's just politics. That's number one. Number two, when I heard about the birthday letter, it gave me Kavanaugh high school yearbook vibes. Remember when Kavanaugh was going through his... And they're like, well, we got his high school yearbook.
Oh, yeah. You like beers.
Same kind of thing here. So, the president says he didn't write it. It doesn't sound like Donald Trump, honestly. And do I think that somebody put together a book for Epstein? Probably, maybe. But here's what I know. Here's the only things I really know. They were friends. Trump disowned him, kicked him out of his club when he found out, when it became apparent the guy was a creep. And then they didn't have any contact. That's what I know about that period. I also know this. If there were anything in these files that could hurt Donald Trump, when Joe Biden had them for 4 years, when the Democrats had possession of them, they would have released it.
Yep.
I have no doubt about that. And so I'm not really thinking there's anything in here. How does it end? They'll have to release something. They tried to get the grand jury material. A judge said no. I guess they'll keep working on that. My assessment is they'll probably have to release something. Some people will accept it. Some people won't. But I don't think he's wrong that there obviously were people who went to the island. We don't seem to care about that. We only seem to care about Trump, who disowned the guy before any of this ever became public.
It's funny you're saying this. Jamil Hill, one of your colleagues, who is on, I don't know if she's a colleague or not, but she's on there regularly. This is her talking about how she feels about the Epstein, and your reaction to this very, very interesting. Go ahead, Rob.
I'm just very satisfied by seeing him make such a huge unforced error.
I have to say, your use of the word delicious to start your comments, and then you're saying that you're very satisfied. But, we are talking about a situation here where young women were abused. This is a tragic case. Maxwell's in jail because she helped traffic the women. This is a very, very tragic case. I see Democrats and people on the left taking great political delight in this because they don't care one bit about the victims. They only started caring this about 5 minutes ago. They only started caring 5 minutes ago when it was a cudgel against Trump. So this kind of language where we just sort of laugh about the situation but forget the underlying issue, the victims here, to me, it's
so
beyond the pale.
What's your solution to?
What's my solution, by the way? My solution to going back and building a time machine and stopping Jeffrey Epstein from becoming a total and complete creep. Look, the solution is if they have documents that you can release and it's credible information and it's not, third, fourth hand hearsay, fine. If you want to put the grand jury stuff out, fine. But the solution is for people to realize Democrats only care about this for one reason. They have completely and utterly failed to stop Trump for the last 6 months. This is just the latest thing. And by the way, next month it'll be something else. And next month it'll be something else. They are lurching from one made-up thing to the next to try to implant in the public firmament the idea that Trump had something to do with Epstein's wrongdoing. It's the same thing they did with Russia. We just want people to believe Russia stole the election for him. Now half the country believes it. They want half the country to believe that he had something to do with Epstein, whether it's true or not. It's not true, but whether it is or not, they just need that to become part of a narrative. No facts, no truth, narrative. This is why they're cratering, because people are onto the narrative-driven politics. It's crazy.
But so let me ask you a question, Scott. So let's take Trump completely out of the equation. When it comes to like the Bill Gates and how Melinda Gates said on camera, she basically divorced her husband because of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Take that for what it's worth. She said he was deplorable. No, I'm sorry. No, she said he was abhorrent, that he was evil personified when she was around him. She felt disgusted. Then go to Bill Clinton, was on the airplane 28 times, very close relationship, visited the White House 17 times. Let's take Trump completely out. When you have a team like Pam Bondi, who worked in Florida after the conviction, and she came in after the Attorney General. Then you have Dan Bongino, you have Kash Patel, who are running on this campaign of Epstein, watch what I'm going to do day one and all this. What do you say to them? And then Pam Bondi getting caught saying, tens of thousands of hours and stuff like that. Taking Trump out, what do you say to the people like me who are like, okay, wait a minute. You guys are talking the talk. Now you guys are in, and all of a sudden it feels like somebody's telling them to shut up. Somebody's saying to sweep this under a rug because there are some powerful people on there. Not even Trump. Just everybody else, like major players are still involved. What do you say about that?
Well, my view is, if anybody committed crimes, they should be investigated and taken to trial. I mean, if you committed a crime, you should face consequence. I don't care how rich you are or how powerful you are. That's number one. Number two, I don't think you can just do away with this because it's apparent to me that there's enough support in the Congress to want to release something. Mm-hmm. And now, we're in August, so the Congress is gone. And so, if I were advising them, I would say, listen, what can you get out? What can you do here? What is within the realm of the possible? Because if you let this eat up the rest of the calendar year in Congress, if this sort of takes precedent over the rest of your agenda, that would be a terrible thing. And so my suspicion is over the next few weeks, you're likely to see something. Again, I'm under no expectation it'll satisfy everybody, but I think they should probably do what they can do. But all the time, Trump is right. The Democrats don't care about this because they care about victims or anybody else. If they did, they would have released it when Joe Biden had possession of the records. If they cared, Biden would have released the records. They only care now because of Trump. And, so continuing to deal with this does to some degree play their game.
I agree with Scott that something's got to be released so watch what they're doing. Conversation. I'll put all of them in one. So Ghislaine Maxwell granted limited immunity while giving the DOJ 100 people linked to the Jeffrey Epstein report. This is one. Is this her
attorney?
Okay, go for it, Rob.
I think Ghislaine did a wonderful job. She literally answered every question. She didn't say, you know what, don't ask me that. I'm not going to talk about this person. She was asked.
I wish we could see
maybe about 100 different people. She answered questions about everybody, and she didn't hold anything back.
Let the people see the interview. Let us see what happened there. So that's that. Then Trump keeps the doors open for pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. He says, I'm allowed to do it. Okay? Interesting. I'm allowed to do it. Go ahead, Rob.
Maybe it's not. I don't know. But maybe it's slightly different.
Mr. President, the President completely ruled out a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell when you landed. Is that something you would ever consider, and why?
Pardon for who?
For Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well, I'm allowed to give her a pardon, but nobody's approached me with it. Nobody's asked me about it. It's in the news about that aspect of it, but right now it would be inappropriate to talk about it.
So that's that, Rob. Let's go to the next one. Then you get, again, this is hold of Ghislaine Maxwell. The DOJ sitting more than 100,000 pages of unreleased Epstein material. This is New York Times, 100,000. What are those 100,000 things that they have? Go for it, Rob.
This is separate. This is about the mysterious box.
Right. And then that was the one I was going to get to last. If you want to play the mysterious box, go for it.
This is video of Maxwell returning to prison just moments after meeting with Trump's deputy attorney general. And you can see her there. Actually, if you look closely, she's carrying a box of material. Now, Maxwell's attorney says she was forthcoming with every question that Trump's team threw at her today.
That's her. So if you pardon her, how many podcasts, shows, interviews will she go on? What will TMZ pay for an interview?
Oh, my God.
What will NBC, ABC, CBS, 60 Minutes pay for that interview? That interview will be so explosive. You're talking millions on top of millions of views if you release her, and she won't stop talking. Now, what are you going to put, a gag order? Is he just toying with them to say that I would entertain it? What do you think is going to happen here with this Ghislaine one that's coming out with them, allowing her to speak to DOJ and giving 100 different people linked to Jeffrey Epstein? Scott?
I personally don't support a pardon for her because she's a terrible person. She helped Epstein commit these crimes. I mean, she's in jail for a reason. And I don't know what she told him. You know, Blanche, who I think is a very good lawyer, I don't know what she told him. And I don't know how credible what she said is. I mean, remember, she's a convicted felon and a liar and somebody who committed terrible acts in her life. And so, look, my view is if you have evidence that somebody committed a crime, just go get them.
Yeah.
If you don't, be honest about that too. Ultimately, transparency tends to help everything.
I'm going to disagree with our friend Scott Jennings for a second. And I'm no legal scholar here.
I'm no lawyer either.
Okay. Have you ever heard Ghislaine Maxwell talk? You ever heard her voice?
No.
I've seen a million videos of her, seen a million images of her. No clue what she sounds like. Doesn't know if she has an accent. I don't know if her name is Ghislaine. I have no clue. I want this woman to sing like a canary and tell us everything, expose everybody, tell all the dirtiest, darkest secrets out there. I don't care that she's a criminal. Everyone wants the truth. She's the only person alive, allegedly, that knows all the dirt. Why are we keeping this lady a secret? She had a whole trial. What happened in the trial?
Well,
she was there. She went to jail. She's gone.
What?
Am I wrong here?
No.
Do we want Ghislaine to start singing and tell the story?
No, because he's right, Pat. Because think about it. She's in prison for 5 counts, including sex trafficking of a minor, transportation of a minor for illegal sexual activity, and conspiracy to entice minors to travel for illicit purposes. Okay, where are the people that she sold all this crap to? Where are those people? Then
his name is Jeffrey Epstein. He's dead.
No. Where are the people, the guys that were paying, that were getting all the sex?
It was probably Jeffrey Epstein that was paying.
No, I'm saying, bro.
He was hosting.
Oh yeah, he was hosting these parties. All those people, all those tapes. What I'm saying is, if there's no crime, where are the customers? Well, if you can't be a drug dealer, Adam, and
so
be like,
you're making my case. Don't you want her to speak?
Yeah, but here's the thing. You think they're gonna really let her sit in front of a camera and spill
I don't know,
everything?
but I think we'd like to see it. Am I wrong?
You know what's probably in that bag? Rope for her to not hang herself.
She did.
That's probably what's in there.
I mean, she did sit in front of the Deputy Attorney General of the United States and for 2 days and answered apparently every question.
Was it televised?
No, you're never going to see that.
But
that's my point, Scott.
But if
we don't know what she said.
But if they're
There's a clip right here.
But if they're investigating. I mean,
that's
we
her?
wouldn't televise the early part of it.
Yeah, no, for
That's
sure.
her now?
Watch this. There's an interview with her where she talks about Jeffrey Epstein killing himself.
Do you believe that he committed suicide? Because many don't.
No, he didn't. I don't believe he did.
There's her voice, Adam.
I believe that he was murdered.
Murdered.
Okay.
Boom.
So, by the way, here's the thing. Do you know who else has 15 to 16 hours of footage with Epstein? Do you know who?
Tell me.
A guy named Steve Bannon.
Steve Bannon?
Steve Bannon is sitting on 15 to 16. Rob, I just text you a clip
What do you
of
mean?
it.
Really?
Steve, are you guys serious
I'm
right now?
dead serious.
Okay,
What?
Rob, can you go on ChatGPT, please?
What?
Rob, go on ChatGPT and type in how many hours of footage does Steve Bannon have of Epstein?
What do you mean?
Just wait a minute.
Okay, yeah.
How many hours of footage does Steve Bannon have? Steve Bannon have on Epstein, of Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein. Watch this. And zoom in, please, so I can read this. Thanks, Rob. Steve Bannon is reported to have 15 to 16 hours of unreleased interview footage of Jeffrey Epstein shot in 2018, 2019 as a planned documentary project that was never, ever released.
Why?
Go to one of the clips, Rob, that I just texted you. You know which one I'm talking about. I just literally sent it to you 2 minutes ago. Right there, watch this one. Here's one clip of it, okay? And 20 seconds of it.
Yeah.
That's Epstein and Bannon. Watch this. I'm surprised, Vinny, you haven't seen it. Watch this.
Future is for the way women think. The way women think. That's correct. Not a sop because of all the depravity you've done against young women. And your new sop is that their women's thinking is the future.
No, I've always believed that women would be, in fact, be able to take over. I'm a firm believer and supporter of Time's Up. Future is
okay, so here's a question, Scott. 15 to 16 hours footage of Epstein in 1819 that you got, and you've been sitting on it for 7 years, 6 years. Why do you think that's not been released?
I don't know, really. My guess is there are a lot of people who want it, and as you were alluding to earlier, a lot of people would pay to have it right now. I mean, pay a lot of money to see what he had to say. Not just in bites either, but the whole thing. I mean, I actually wonder if the Department of Justice has asked for it, at some juncture.
I would be surprised if they haven't asked for it. I would be surprised if they haven't gone up to him. And to me, you can, as a guy that thinks of many different reasons, why would he hang on to it? By the way, let's say, what is the likelihood that he dropped names and actually gave him real information? What do you think the percentage is? Let's spitball. Like 5%, 50%, 80%, 20%. What do you think the percentage is? Tom, what do you think? What do you think that actually in those 15, 16 hours, Epstein gave names?
I think it's probably a very low percent.
I think so as well.
I think it's like a 10% chance he gave names, but I think it's about a 70% chance that he intimated to things that were happening so that are valuable to Bannon to hang on to.
Okay, so if it is,
you know what I mean? Like,
for sure. So let's just say it's 5%, okay? Vinny, what do you think of the chances that he has names that he gave?
In that?
In that, 15, 16 hours. That's a long time to talk to somebody. That's like when what's his name, went to Russia to interview Oliver Stone, to interview Putin, and he did a 4-part, 5-part, I don't know if you've seen that documentary. It's phenomenal of Putin, right? Yeah. That's a lot of hours of Epstein. What do you think is what percentage do you think he has intel of other people that he gave names?
Very, very, very low. I think he's less than 5%.
Okay. Are you at the same place?
I'm a little bit higher. I mean, when we did the interview with Andrew Tate, we flew out to Madrid and we sat with him for 5 hours. 15 hours?
15 hours.
I mean, that's multiple days of filming.
Yeah.
Some stuff is going to come out.
Okay, so then
I'm higher than 5-10%.
By the way, let me tell you guys this part, man. I mean, there's a part of me that thinks, imagine if you have that footage, okay? If you have 15 to 16 hours of Epstein, that is the ultimate dead man switch insurance policy for you long term to be used in Why the hell would you release it?
Wow. Do you think he's copied and put in a bunch of
100%. Bannon is a strategist. Bannon is not a dummy. 100%. Bannon is one of those minds that, no way. So, or here's the flip side of it.
Okay.
He was waiting for the right time to release.
Oh man.
Let me tell you, if he put 16 hours straight today and it's on one video and it's 16 hours, I am telling you, millions of people will watch the entire 16 hours on 2.0 speed. Millions would watch it on Spotify 3.5 speed. It would be the #1 podcast worldwide just because of
Absolutely.
It would break records for hours and hours.
So, can I ask you a question, Ben?
Just on curiosity.
Yeah, just on curiosity.
You're Steve Bannon.
Yeah.
You have that footage.
Yeah.
Okay, so walk me through it.
Yeah.
He makes a bunch of copies.
Yeah.
He gives them to, what does he tell his lawyer? Like, what do you think the strategy is? 'Cause I mean, 15 hours, anybody in the Department of Justice and higher ups, those people that are technically on this list.
I'm telling you right now, there's a part of them that is kind of like, dude, if you even think about releasing. So I mean, he asked the question, right?
Yeah.
Have they reached out? To me is, why haven't you reached out? A guy says he's got 15 to 16 hours of footage with Epstein. You don't want to find out what he says in there? It's like when Rudy Giuliani, I'm in his apartment when I'm doing the interview, Mafia States of America. He's showing me the laptop. I have the laptop. This is Hunter Biden's laptop. The FBI came here. I'm trying to give it to them. They don't want to take it.
What the
This is the laptop. This is the laptop. They don't want it. They're not interested in it. Take it. You want to see what's in it? No. When we're going through this. This was, I don't know what year this was, but 2019, 2020, when we're doing the 2020, something like that.
We had the guy come on. John Paul, what was it?
John Isaac Mark.
Yeah.
John Mack.
From Delaware. He's the guy that was fixing the laptop.
Can I ask you guys a quick question on Epstein? Maybe we could run a poll. This will be real quick. It's either one of three things. Maybe I'm off. Number one, either he's just a total creep pervert, granted. Number two, financial criminal mastermind. Or number three, and a lot of people are making him out to be like Hannibal Lecter and Freddy Krueger and Darth Vader personified. Where do you have him, Scott?
Are these things mutually exclusive?
But where do you think he is in these three categories? Because a lot of people think that he's the worst person to ever live.
He's a scumbag.
Okay, but that's scumbag is number
I'm
one.
not speaking on behalf of Scott. Scott can have his
complete creep pervert, financial criminal mastermind, or basically the devil personified.
I mean,
of those three categories.
I mean, look, based on everything we know about what happened there, I mean, I think you start with complete, total creep, evil person. And obviously money was wrapped up in his worldview and his activities in some way, but you don't go from, being, what was he, a teacher?
Yeah.
To being massively wealthy.
Yeah.
And engaging in the activities that they engaged in at that level of society without some kind of deep problem and evil problem. I think he's a scumbag. I think he's a creep. I think the people who helped him and the people who participated in it are the same. And my personal view is anybody who committed a crime needs to go to jail. And why they haven't? I mean, only one person's in jail. Maxwell.
Her.
And you don't want her to speak.
She did speak. She talked to the attorney. Do you not trust Trump's guys? I do.
I don't trust anybody. I want her to speak.
She did talk to Trump. Here's the
Where?
thing.
Show me proof. Show me something.
He went there. There was video of him talking.
Show
to
me
her
her talking. I got nothing.
No, so wait a minute. You're saying they didn't even interview her?
I'm saying I would like to hear from myself.
If the lawyer comes out and says, the lawyer on her side that is defending her comes out and said she answered every question, and then she's walking back into...
but I want to see the movie for myself.
Oh, you want to see
Don't
the
tell
movie.
me about the movie.
Yeah.
I want to see it for You guys don't want to see it for yourself?
Join
Okay.
the club on what's going on there.
Thank
But
you.
look, I want to talk about a very, very important issue. That is a massive crisis that a lot of people are talking about. And it's divided a big part of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle ad.
Oh, damn.
Oh, no.
Which, very patriotic to a lot of people with the Mustang being in it.
Yeah.
And they're trying to say this girl's making companies so much money. Any commercial she does for a company, they make money. Okay? I'm going to give you some stats on this one here.
I love her.
And then we're going to share with you what happens when you put transgenders into commercials.
Oh.
What happens with that strategically. And then, we'll also show what happens when you put big girls in clothes to try to sell clothes.
Ooh.
What happens? By the way, guys, it's all data. It's not like we're picking on anybody, okay? Here's the latest ad by American Eagle, and a lot of people are calling this Nazi propaganda, the woke. Go ahead, Rob.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
You see what I did there, right?
Who is this Nazi?
Adam, don't interrupt. I'm in a
Who is
moment.
she?
Sydney Sweeney, and I'm from Spokane, Washington. I can work as a local hire as well, though, and I'm available for the American Eagle jeans campaign shoot.
Profile and hands, please. Thanks. We'll be in touch.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
Next.
Oh, that says
Are you
that's
okay?
Hitler
Are you
all over
with
the
us?
place. Yeah, but Hitler's all over that.
Are you with us on that one? Obviously, I mean, that's the story.
Yeah,
that I'm
what's the
reading.
story, PBD?
The story is from New York Post that people are losing their minds saying the fact that,
It says,
white and all this other stuff. But
American Eagle's ad slammed as Nazi propaganda by crazed woke mob over jeans with a J and jeans with a G pun.
Stop it. Knock it off. So, okay, what is the data here? American Eagle sparks backlash for touting Sydney's great jeans as slogan. Roger Mendez rose on the right, praised the campaign as a blow to wokeness. It's not about a blow, guys. It's literally data. I mean, can you, go a little bit lower to see what they put. Good for American, what is it called? The brand is called American Eagle. Okay, good for American Eagle. This got the kind of attention that it got, okay, and made money for this company. And by the way, to the woke people that are upset, let's just say you are upset with this. Let's look at the trans ad that Jaguar did, that there was no car in the commercial, that the best commercial on Jaguar was done by Vinny, in my opinion. It wasn't even a Jaguar that did it.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, this one right here. Rob, I don't know if you have it or not. Okay, just put the picture of the people that are in it, right? So this is who was in the Jaguar ad. All right, no problem. Representing the trans LGBTQ. If you're right, sales should blow up for Jaguar. Rob, can you show us what happened to Jaguar after this ad in sales? Just go to Google. Yeah, Jaguar sales after transgender ad. What happened to their numbers? I'm assuming they're up 600%.
They should be.
Maybe they're up 200%. Oh, no. They're down 98%.
Uh-oh.
Guys, by the way, that's catastrophic. Like Jaguar.
It's over.
A brand that my uncle Luther Al-Khassei always had a Jaguar, a Syrian guy. Always. You would go like Jaguar represents class, old money. You know, it was
It's
a
like
certain
James
types
Bond
of people that drove it. Yeah.
almost, right?
And then
that
now
was an
you're
Aston
doing this.
Martin.
So to all the people that are furious, show the data that the trans ads work. Now, what was the other one? If I give you some numbers here right now, American Eagle stock. Did you see what happened yesterday?
They dropped.
The American Eagle stock went up 6 to 12% in regular trading. After hours, it went up 15 to 22%, making them $200 to $300 million like this. That's what she just did. Like this, made them money in one day, $200 million with a commercial that she did. On top of that, She partnered a few years back with a company called Dr. Squatch. I don't know if you guys follow this story with Dr. Squatch. If you go to Dr. Squatch and put Sydney Sweeney, she partnered with those guys. It was a marketing blitz. Went out there, did her thing. You know what ended up happening with these guys, Dr. Squatch? Can you type how much Unilever paid for Dr. Squatch? How much did Unilever pay for Dr. Squatch? Okay. For Dr. Squatch. What a name, by the way. I have a hard time saying it. They paid $1.5 billion. Vinny, you've probably never heard of Dr. Squatch.
I've never heard of it.
They paid $1.5 billion to a company you've never heard of before. Okay. And Sydney Sweeney was a bigger part of that ad. Now, there was another brand that tried to do DEI stuff with Big Girls. Do you remember the Big Girls one? Scott, I'm sure you followed very closely.
Scott, talk to us.
None of us follow it.
There
That's
wasn't
the
just
point.
one brand. There were lots of brands.
But there was one of them. There was one of them that did
didn't Victoria's Secret go down this road?
There you go.
We know Victoria's Secret now. They like big girls.
Rennie, you know for a fact, if I come to your apartment right now, your place right now, or if I go into your beautiful truck that you have, the sick truck that you have, there's a bunch of Victoria's Secret, flyers sitting around with big girls in it.
1,000%.
I'm certain of it because you give me the vibes that you're into that kind of stuff, right?
Size 22?
Yeah.
So guess what? You know why Hollywood works? You know why Victoria's Secret works? You know why these ads work? Is because you're seeing something that's physically attractive. It's a dream. And it does well, okay? And the data shows us that people like natural beauty. Don't get me wrong. Kim Kardashian still does very well with 70-something surgeries that she's claimed she's done, okay? But Sydney Sweeney, Rob, is that natural? Is that the
Sydney Sweeney's she's all natural.
She's got great hands. She had to show her hands in the.
Is that what the whole obsession is? Like she's an
done
attractive breast
woman.
reduction at 18.
Yeah,
she did breast reduction.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. She considered it, but she decided against it.
Oh, well, it paid off to not get it, like not to get breast reduction.
Stock is up 300
Don't
million.
slap God in the
listen,
face, Cindy.
Tom, for a man who's
Keep
a
what you
businessman,
got.
how do you study this case study? Should additional companies be thinking about their transgender ad to do like Jaguar, or should they go get the next Sydney Sweeney and come and do ads for them?
Well, beauty sells, and Sydney Sweeney certainly has beauty. I mean, that's obvious. And also, wrong-headed conclusions are a staple of the internet, and the internet loses its mind over false accusations and weird conclusions, and we saw that happen. But I do think you were bringing up the plus-size models. I think there should be some federal legislation because headlines such as Lizzo and Playboy reach terms could cause widespread panic. And so I think there are things like this that we need to prevent. But this was like brand destruction. Fashion and beauty have been around the idyllic, hey, this is what a muscular guy looks like. This is what an attractive female looks like. And they put these ideal images in front of us. By the way, photoshopped and trimmed and everything else because even the models don't look that good sometimes. And they sell fashion. Fashion is sold to perfection. You can aspire to be on this path of perfection and toward this path of allurement if you have these clothes, this and this. This is the way it's sold. Why are we so surprised? And then this little sliver out there goes viral. The real question here is, why do certain things go viral and certain things not? And for some reason, some weird conclusion about Sydney Sweeney went bonkers. I don't get it. And how people have tried to cater to the DEI and go the other way and have lost a lot of money in the process. I get that. Jaguar went the wrong way. Boy, that worked out, didn't it?
There's Scott, your thoughts on the Scott?
Well, on the left right now, you have to understand everything you hate is Hitler. I hate Donald Trump. He must be Hitler.
That's right.
I hate Sydney Sweeney, and I hate what these ads represent. Therefore, she also must be Hitler. I mean, look at the mainstream media headlines. I'm sitting here counting. 1, Washington Post, Independent, NBC News, Fox News, Salon, KTLA, Newsweek. Piece after piece after piece after piece dedicated to the supposed controversy. What is the controversy? You mean to tell me that if you put attractive women next to a product, people might want to buy it?
Yeah.
Like that's blowing my mind.
Oh my gosh.
Do we just think of that?
It's no idea.
But
Scott.
it's a controversy. Yeah. It's a controversy because you guys have been talking about it. The people on the left who control a lot of these cultural institutions, they thought they had everything sort of moving in a different direction than, and now Sweeney's back. She sells jeans. She has to be attacked as Hitler because it blows up their narrative. Again, They want to create a narrative-based world, not an empirical world, not a world based on facts or logic or things that we know are true. Everything has to be based on narratives. The narrative here was, we can sell just as much stuff by putting things in front of people that they don't like, but we're going to make them like it. We're going to force them to like it. Sweeney comes along and says, no, people like attractive women next to products. Blows up their narrative.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, there's, the other day we were having a conversation on whether Philip Seymour Hoffman is a top 10 actor, greatest of all time or not. It was a very heated debate. Fights broke out. Plates
sunflower seeds were thrown at each other.
Sunflower seeds. And it was nonstop debate over this guy's top 10 or not. We finally settled on he's a top 20, top 25 all time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we were at. The guy's a legend.
Yes.
And when we went through top 10, names that came up were,
Al Pacino,
De Niro,
Daniel Day-Lewis,
De Niro,
leading men.
Dustin Hoffman was a top 20 guy.
Tom Cruise,
Tom
Hanks.
We had a bunch of these guys. These names.
Denzel
Leonardo
Washington.
DiCaprio.
Listen, it kind of also helps if the leading man is extremely handsome.
Oh, yeah.
That helps.
Yes.
Generally. Okay. Leading actress is, what's her name? The girl that you like. Is Margot Robbie the greatest actress in the world? I don't
Absolutely
know.
not.
Is Megan Fox the greatest actress in the world?
Or Jennifer Lawrence?
How many times have you watched Transformers 1? And I wonder how many people stopped watching Transformers after Transformers 2 when she no longer came back. They were done. If there's no Shia LaBeouf and no Megan Fox, Transformers was done. I can ask my kids to watch Transformers 1. They'll watch it with me 50 times. If I ask them to watch Transformers 3, they're leaving and going to swimming outside. It's like people leave. It's a mass exodus.
I'm against trans.
Yeah, you're right. So,
unbelievable.
But the point is, it helps. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and not give proper credit to Bridesmaids.
Oh, my God.
You know who made that movie?
Is the big girl that was on the airplane with her.
The one with her husband that she puts her leg up in the airplane.
Did you know you want this?
That's her husband,
That's
apparently.
a real husband in real life.
That's a comedy.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. But Rob, can you go to that one? I don't know back in the days if you guys put posters of girls on your walls or not. I did a ton of that myself. When I was in the Army, I had posters of all these girls on the wall. Yeah. I honestly want to know how many walls this poster went on.
No, 0.
By the way, here's the thing you have to realize.
Must be a pretty damn big wall.
FYI. If we took our shirts off right now and we go to the beach, you're probably going to have Vincent Oshana's body on a poster. I'm not going to sell the way Vinny's going to sell. I don't know if there's a picture of Vincent Oshana.
Rob,
shirtless.
what are you doing, Rob?
Vinny, no, not that one.
That's not me, Rob.
Go to that one right there. Is that Vinny? That right there, Rob. Is that Vinny?
No.
Go to
Who the hell is that guy?
So anyway,
Here, how about this one?
You go see Vinny. There is a clip. One of these is I'm going to show it.
I'm about to give this
There's
big
a clip. One of
reveal
these
right
I'm
now.
Listen, that's going to sell on the calendar.
Oh, yeah.
The rest of us are on Adam. As much as you'd like to know, Adam's going to
Look at
outsell
Pat.
you in calendars.
Watch
He just
this.
Is. Yeah. It helps
Watch
to be
this,
in
Scott.
shape.
Scott, check this out. Look at Pat.
Yeah, but guys, we're talking. That is
jacked.
Who's that guy?
Guys, I'm 18.
Relax, buddy.
You're not. That'll sell. But look at. By the way, that's my
ridiculous.
posters on the wall. That's my room in the army.
Yeah, great point. Look
That's
at the girls.
Angel
And
Tevis in the back.
And that's crazy. Look at that. That's you and Tom there, right back in the
that's
day.
Tom. That's Tom back in the
right
days.
there.
Click on that.
Tom was Diesel.
That's
Look
Tom
at
Ellsworth. That's back in the days when Tom Yates.
Yeah.
Tom Yates.
Tom looking
Yates.
good.
So wait, Pat, you mean to tell me you didn't have Oprah on your wall?
No. The point I'm trying to make to you is there is
That's a
zero
big wall, too.
calendars being sold today. Okay.
Yeah.
People like you being in shape. And, you talk about making a decision for yourself, your body, your health, what you did. Hey, people want to see others that go and take care of their body. How hard is it, Scott? Honestly, it's flipping hard.
He lost 100
Vinny
pounds.
being in shape, you go look at what Vinny looks like in the gym. He's the most jacked guy in the gym. He is so disciplined. It's not easy. When you're sitting there right in front of you, it's like, here's a strawberry freaking cheesecake, shredded ice cream with vanilla on top and strawberry, whatever you put at this Takata place. Say no to it. Sitting in front of you saying, eat me. Come on, take a bite. And you're like eating this thing like this. This is unfair. You go to Casa and they put the cinnamon ice cream with the apple pie that's hot on the bottom and the cinnamon ice cream is melting. Go look at it and say, no, I don't want your cinnamon ice cream.
I do it.
It's not easy. 11 o'clock at night, everybody's asleep. You go downstairs, you want to get some water, and then you open the fridge and you're like, dude, I'm going to have some dirt cake ice cream right now. No one will know. Take a scoop and do it in a way that nobody will know that you're guilty. On the side or whatever way you're doing it, you kind of flatten it out, right? No one's going to know. It's not easy, guys. Maybe it's because it's getting lunchtime and I'm kind of hungry.
Yeah,
I don't know. I haven't had anything all day today.
Vinny hasn't had a
by the way,
nom.
Nothing wrong against these ladies. Okay? There's somebody to love for everybody. But we respect people that take the time to go lose weight. And this old saying of, it's not that I'm fat, I'm what's the phrase?
Big bones.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, but by the way, you know what story is a perfect transition for this story, Scott? Curious to know what you're going to. I hope this story doesn't offend you. You ready?
All right.
Goodbye, gentle parenting. Hello, F around and find out. This is a Wall Street Journal story.
This does not offend me. I have 4 children. So
yes, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Rob, this is an actual story that just came out, folks. It's called Goodbye, Gentle Parenting. Hello, F around and find out. Parents are back. They're making a comeback.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Parents are ditching the softer approach to child rearing that has dominated the culture and taking a harder line. Out feral, there. What is it? Feral? What is it? What does that mean? Out feral, they're feral. Anyways, let me read the story to you. And then, Scott, I'm coming to you first, okay? Because I want to know how you parent your kids. Soft. You're like, baby, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. All right. Carla Dillon, a 35-year-old mother of 2 outside Richmond, Virginia, embraced the FAFO, F around and find out, parenting style, throwing her 13-year-old son against the wall and taking a baseball bat. I'm just kidding.
Damn, get it, girl. Go for it.
No. Throwing her 13-year-old son in a pond after he sprayed her with a water gun, stating some of the best lessons in life are the hard ones. She rejected gentle parenting, saying, my kids will walk all over me if I do that, and noted, maybe our kids wouldn't like that, but not to be rude. My kid is tougher than yours. FAFO prioritizes consequences over gentle method, which critics blame for Gen Zers' workplace and mental health struggles. John Wellington, a 46-year-old stand-up comedian and FAFO father of 5 from Somerville, South Carolina, believes hardline parenting is necessary, stating the era of participation trophy is over, and it caused us to get a little bit soft. He required his high school daughter to attend color guard practice despite her dislike, saying, in the real world, when you commit to a loan or car payment or house payment or even a marriage, you have to finish that thing until it's over with. Scott, thoughts on this?
First of all, I have 4, 16, 11, 9, and 7, all boys. If you do not take this attitude in my household, they will immediately subdue you and be in charge of everything. True. They'll subdue. I mean, they can run everything.
They're the captain now.
Yeah. And you have to teach them that actions have consequences. You have to teach them that the world owes you nothing. You have to teach them that schedules and structure are a good thing. And you have to tell them that you love them, but telling people that you love them means also telling them the truth, which means sometimes stop being an idiot. Yes. These are the things you have to do. And if you leave them to their own devices and don't give them that leadership and guidance, recipe for disaster. All it took was Trump winning for parents to realize. All it took was Daddy coming back to teach us the parenting lessons. Honestly, there is. I read this the other day. I couldn't get enough of it because I know people who take the other approach. Yeah. And look. Maybe when you have 1, you can get away. When you have 4, that's a whole war.
Hey, Scott Jennings,
you're outnumbered.
Hey, Scott, you ever hit your kids?
No.
Would you ever?
Would I?
No, I'm saying, do you ever almost?
Almost?
Pow pow? Nothing?
Nah. So not necessary. If you show the proper adult leadership, it's unnecessary.
You've never hit one of your kids? You're not going to get in trouble here.
Well, you're saying hit like beating, like spanking.
What's your
saying there's levels to this.
This is actually a very good question.
I want to know.
What's your approach?
My approach is that we're the adults, you're the children. Mm-hmm. So I'm not here to negotiate. I'm not here to debate. I'm here to tell you how it's going to be. And that if you don't accept that, actions have consequences. You're going to learn this later in life. I mean, I tell them this all the time. Decision-making is vital, and actions have consequences. And so I never try to let situations spiral to the point where everybody is angry and on the brink of an emotional reaction. Mm-hmm. You just have to have a structure to your decision.
What happens if you had a boss that you respected, but he's also a big guy? He might have also maybe became Mr. Olympia, and he threatens you If you step out of line, you might get a pow pow.
Tell him the truth. The time
What happened?
Asking for
Adam
a
gets
friend.
Vinny, how many times a week does Adam get pow pow? Adam got pow pow last night, by the way.
Adam got a little pow pow.
But let me tell you guys what happened this weekend. Oh my God, guys, this was uncomfortable. You know the ice cream spot we go to. I'm not going to say the name. We know which one I'm talking about. My daughter loves this ice cream spot, and you just have to watch her after she gets the rainbow.
She dances.
I've never seen anybody happier than when they get this rainbow ice cream. Anyways, we're in line, and it's me, Senna, Dylan, and Brooklyn. And there's this mother by herself with 4 kids. Oh, man. And she's trying to tell her son, you're not going to get ice cream because of what you did earlier. The son is probably 13 years old. He's crying, and he goes like this to her. He goes, I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe you're doing this. I told you, don't do it earlier. You're such a dumbass, Mom.
Oh, no.
You're such a dumbass. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, my God, my blood pressure.
Yeah.
And then Senna looks at me. And then Dylan looks at me. I said, go ahead and try that on me.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead. Try that approach, see what happens. Go ahead.
Go for it.
She's like, I cannot believe how he's speaking to her mom.
That's not the first time he's done that.
No, that's not.
That's
no
the
way.
thing. He knows he can do it.
He knows he can do it.
And there are no consequences.
So I look at
He
the
knows.
mom. I'm like, let me ask you a question. Does your son play sports? He does. He's so wonderful. And I'm trying to like see if she's, because then I look at her hand. First thing I look at is hand to see if she's got a ring, okay? I look at her hand, and I'm like, she's married. Who the hell gives him the permission to talk to you like this? I understand if there's not a father figure in the picture to be there to teach the discipline. What makes him think he can talk like this to you?
Great point.
But then at that point, the way she said it, they're such great kids. Your son calling you dumbass in public, you know I heard it. That's a great kid. That is a big problem of parents wanting to be friends with their kids. I'm going to Vegas this week because of our annual conference that we got. And then we're going to go pay a quick visit to LA for something that we'll be doing, and then we'll come back to town. We'll be out of town for a week. And, you know, you're putting together the message on what message you want to give to these 10,000 guys at MGM Grand Arena. Okay. And I'm with Tom. Was it Saturday night or Saturday night? Right. We're together. Saturday. Tom, what time did we finish Saturday night at the house?
You, me, and our very good buddy Tigran didn't finish till 12:30.
Yeah. So we're done. And you know what it is, Vinny? We're going through all these pictures that I went back and found. Okay. All of these pictures.
Okay.
And you know, the best one is here, Tom, the very respectful, sentimental Tom side.
Oh my
Tom's
God.
got that side, right? But anyways, we're going through all these pictures.
Don't judge.
okay?
Maybe I was upset.
And you know what
That's
it
the
is?
Tom I know.
It's thinking about messaging. That sometimes when you're trying to help develop somebody, God didn't put that person in your life at the time to try to be your best friend. That person's in your life to lead you at this phase. So God willing, one day you guys can become friends in the future. And I can take a minute. A lot of parents. A guy sends me a question on Menect. By the way, one thought for you guys with Menect. FYI, okay? Vinny currently
Where we at?
broke the record for the most completed Menects in a month. He's at 561, but guess what?
I know, guys.
Guess what? Lindy Lee is right behind him at 555.
Guys, please don't let her
Both
beat
of them
me.
have already broken my record.
Don't let her beat me,
If
guys.
you want Vinny to win, Menect him.
Let's go.
If you want Lindy
Don't
to
even
win,
mention
Menect
her. Don't even mention
Go
her.
Menect
Vinny, the future
Lindy.
is female.
Guys, let's go
Rooting
for it.
Somebody
Lindy.
somebody sends me Menect about parenting, and we're going back and forth on parenting. I'm like, why are you apologizing about, you know, challenging and pushing and raising strong kids? Being apologetic, trying to be friend too early when the kids need a leader in their lives. I think it's an issue. Anyways, great take here. Tom, did you have any thoughts on this one, or because you're
No,
pretty...
I agree with that. I mean, you know, you spend your life trying to be your kid's friend and protect them from everything. You're preparing them for nothing. That's not the way the real world works, not the way this works. That's not the way consequences work. And Scott said a couple things I completely echo, because I look at it, you want to protect them from critical consequences, but the little consequences that come along are important life lessons. My two girls were kind of, you know, I don't know whether it was daring each other or being kind of ornery with each other. One time we were at this Mexican restaurant, and there was a sriracha pepper. And one said to the other, well, if this happens, you have to eat it. This happens, you have to eat it. Now, some parents would be like, oh my gosh, that's a sriracha pepper, don't do it. I just sat there and I said, I'm going to watch this. And sure enough, one of them tricked the other, chomped in to the sriracha pepper, and she thought she had just consumed lava. And so she said, oh my gosh. I said, yeah, that didn't work out, did it? She starts to cry a little bit. And I said, see? And I just let it go. And there's a million lessons you have to go that way. I let her go for about 3 minutes, and I told her, look,
guys, can you please
milk and bread will take it over.
And tell him what a terrible
no, but you know what?
These are torturing son of a gun.
These are simple things. But the other thing is, like what you brought up,
Scott,
you have to finish. You committed to be on drill team. You'll finish drill team for the benefit of the other people you said you were going to support. You may not like it, but you don't get to punch out every moment of life.
Parents are going to now go take your example and give their kids jalapeno and those hot chips. You know the hot chips that we're talking about that people lose? That's a tough prank to play.
That's the one chip challenge.
I'm on Team Tom on this one.
If it's hot
I want to go to
I'm
terrace.
grabbing
I want to go to
hand.
terrace.
Can I just say one thing?
Keep it short.
I think parents, you should hit your kids. Now, don't beat them.
Says the guy that doesn't have kids.
Yes. Well, listen, I also had a father who beat the shit out of me. So look at how I'm doing okay now.
Yeah, I didn't have a nanny. I had a cut man.
I think Gen Z these days and the generation below that are very soft. You know, they say that the hard times create weak men create soft times, all that fun stuff. I think there's a generation of kids that have never been punched in the face, and they need to. And I'm not encouraging everyone to punch in the face, but I think there's a lot of people that can toughen up and deal with what's on there, because the real world is not nice and cozy, and your parents won't be with you there at work. If you could take it as a teenager, if you take it as a kid, you'll be a tougher adult, and I think the future will look bright. If you have some trauma in your life,
And that's a great transition, Rob. Can you pull up the Amazon, Adam's latest book, 10 Rules for Parenting by Adam Sosnick, is just coming out next week, folks. It's going to take you hours to find it on Amazon, but you'll eventually find it.
And if you need me to come beat your kids.
Okay, no.
All right, let's go to the next story.
You're going to wind up in there with Maxwell if you don't watch it.
That's right.
But at least I'll talk.
Right.
At least I'll talk and you'll hear my voice.
That's right. All right.
Coffee partners.
Next story here. Tariffs. Okay, tariffs. So Trump, EU's von der Leyen, great name, strike trade deal for 15% tariffs. By the way, Vinny found the clip of everybody being forced, I think one of the clips you found at CNN, being forced to say, how do you argue against this? This is a great victory. Rob, can you first play that clip on the agreement that they made with the other folks?
Yes.
With Trump and her? Yeah, go for it.
European Union is going to agree to purchase from the United States $750 billion worth of energy.
Wow.
$750 billion worth of energy. They are going to agree to invest into the United States $600 billion more than they're investing already. So they're investing a large amount of money. You know what that amount of money is. It's very substantial, but they're going to invest an additional $600 billion. They're agreeing to open up their countries to trade at zero tariff. So that's a very big factor. Opening up their countries, all of the countries will be opened up to trade with the United States at zero tariff. And they're agreeing to purchase a vast amount of military equipment. We don't know what that number is, but it's the good news is we make the best military equipment in the world, so sort of you have to do that. I mean, until somebody taps us, which is
we make bombs,
you can pause
baby.
it right there, and it continues, right? The best part of it is when this reporter, Rob, I just send you the clip if you can go to it. Reporter asks, are you open to doing better than 15%? This is the best answer. Go ahead, Rob.
Can you do better than 15% tariff rate for the EU?
Better meaning lower?
Yeah.
No. Mr.
Oh,
President,
That's good parenting.
The power of no.
That's good parenting. This is the greatest
better if he
parenting
maybe hit
lesson
her.
you can get. Can you give me the ice cream? No. I cannot. Great parenting advice. I'm just telling you. That's the way you do it.
And Rob, this is CNN.
montage.
Okay, go for it. Go ahead.
Reviews are in on the new trade deal announced with the European Union. The Financial Times says the deal marks a victory for Trump.
Is this a fantastic deal then struck by Donald Trump?
Absolutely a victory on behalf of the Trump administration.
Well, the bottom line is this is the biggest trade deal in President Trump's effort to effectively reshape the global trading order.
On this deal, the European Union, this is a big win for the U.S.
The bigger picture is that Trump is still very much pursuing his longer-term goal of achieving what he perceives to be fairness for America.
It's a triumph of a lot of things. Certainly, the president ought to take a victory lap. I think it ends up being good for the European Union. It's a blow against the conventional wisdom.
$600 billion.
This is so great, and it's so awesome that even Bill Maher is starting to become more and more reasonable. And this is what Bill Maher had to say about tariffs.
You mean RNC spokesman Bill Maher?
Pretty much. At this point, the two biggest MAGA guys I know is Adam and Bill Maher. Go ahead and play this. Go ahead.
I remember along with probably most people, was saying at the beginning, oh, you know, by the 4th of July, somebody had to think how the country was, the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me. But that didn't happen. Now, it could happen tomorrow. I'm just saying that's reality. So let's work first from the reality of that, not from I just hate Donald Trump. Because that's boring and doesn't get us anywhere and leads you to dishonesty. Because the truth is, I don't know what his strategy is. But look, the stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market, but I also drive around. I don't see a country in a depression at all. I see people out there just living their lives. And I would have thought, and I got to own it, that these tariffs were going to fucking sink this economy by this time, and they didn't. So
you can pause it right there.
You know,
Tom, what do we know about what happened yesterday? Why is this such a big deal?
Well, it's a big deal because Trump said, I'm not America only, but I'm going to be America first, and I'm going to use tariffs. It's a wonderful word, beautiful word. Remember, he went through all that. He loves it. And then he rumbled, and there were parts of it that were a little weird, like when the calculation of the tariffs came out and said, wait, are you talking trade deficit or tariff deficit? And there was some, moments that the administration had on that, trying to explain how the calculations work. But what he wasn't wrong about was, what he did not mislead us about is I'm going door to door, and I may not be, America only, but I'm going to be America first, and I'm going to get deals for us, and I'm going to get things done. And guess what? Now he's got the EU deal done. And there's other deals that he's still talking about that are getting done. And we've had all these other deals get done. So guess what? Bill Maher summed it up correctly. It's not that we thought, we hoped. That's the only word that I would change in Bill Maher. They all hoped. They were betting against America, rooting against America, as we talked about an hour ago on this podcast, and they were hoping bad things would happen. But he takes W after W after W on these things. That's what happened. And guess what? Now it's a more level playing field, and they're $600 billion going to be bought from the U.S., additional $600 billion worth of stuff. Now, that may be 2 bombers and a battleship, and it kind of uses up the budget. Yeah. But, I mean, they're buying more things from the U.S. And guess what? That woman there, she is the head of the EU Economic Commission. And so she was their spokesperson all spring. We're very concerned about this. This is his ham-handed effect. This is that. Remember all that? Guess what? Now she's sitting next very politely. Yeah, hello, very nice. Yep, we have a deal.
Scott, what do you think about this?
Well, all April, I sat through panel after panel after panel, being assured that the market was going to collapse. We were going to have a recession, that, just like Bill said, the economy was going to be in free fall. We did constant coverage, frankly, the stock market every day, it had a dip. And there's little coverage now of the record highs in the stock. It went down. Now it's at record highs. The market has actually responded to it. But the narrative was tariffs must be bad, and we will tell you how it's going to be bad. They didn't bank on Trump being right about leverage and the fact that every other country in the world wants access to the American market. He had leverage, and these trade relationships needed to be rebalanced. They needed to be rebalanced. The energy sales in this are huge. $750 billion in energy. They're buying it from us. Guess who they're not getting it from? Russia. Terrific. That's a good thing.
Oh,
the
one
military
of those pipelines got blown up.
The military equipment, Europe has underinvested in its military for decades. That's a good thing. Agriculture and automotive, those are the two commodities that industries that the president thought would benefit the most from this. So, you couldn't get American cars in Europe. Now, we're going to have a 0% tariff on American cars going that direction. That's a good thing for people who make cars in the United States. He knew he had leverage. And there was a quote in the Financial Times. One of the ambassadors said, he figured out exactly what our pain threshold was. That's their quote. That is their quote in the Financial Times. And one of the EU, he figured out what our pain threshold was. That is a good negotiator. How much pain can I inflict and still get the deal I want? Maximize my leverage. That's what he did. Even the people who hate Trump are admitting it. Great deal for America.
I love it.
Scott, what do you think is going to happen August 1st? Because that was sort of the tariff deadline. They just struck this deal with the EU. They cut a deal with Japan. There's other things in the works. We're 3 days out.
Yeah.
What are your expectations?
So Besson is meeting with his Chinese counterparts in Sweden this week. So obviously you're looking for news on that. That's a big one. Look, there's about 17 to 20 countries that make up the bulk of our trade. Everything else is very small. And so, my anticipation is there'll be more announcements. And, maybe if you're close on somebody and you don't get it done by August 1st, maybe you give them a week reprieve or whatever. But I think for the 17 to 20 countries that matter the most, he's looking to get it right. And for the rest of the world, they want to come to the table, fine. If you don't, fine. You're going to have to face the consequences. We have all the leverage. You know who looks stupid in all this is Canada. Canada looks stupid in this. All these other countries
that's just
are cutting,
what Canada does.
They're cutting deals. We're doing deals with the EU. We're doing things all over the world at this point, and Canada feels left out to me right now. They need to reevaluate their position. We mean more to them than they mean to us.
Oh, yeah.
And I think when they see things like the EU deal and maybe we finish up the negotiations with China, maybe they're going to rethink their position. I think they're acting out of emotion and not out of the realization that we mean more to them than they mean to us.
Scott, what grade would you give Trump at this point? Because when it was the 100-day mark a couple months ago, 3 months ago, we all gave our grades. Right now we're approaching, I think, almost 200 days. That's going to be next week. This was in the thick of the trade stuff. The economy wasn't doing as good. We were kind of collectively in the C range, give or take. But now, I think universally you're right, Vinny.
I did.
We're closer to an A.
Yeah.
Where were you at the 100-day mark? Where were you at the 200-day mark?
At the 100-day mark, I was at an I, which was incomplete for the reason that you mentioned. So the results of things hadn't yet occurred. Now, I was at an A+ on immigration because at that point, we already knew the border was effectively closed, and we knew that was working. I was also at an A on his engagement in foreign affairs. I could see where he was headed and trying to settle these issues. But on the economic stuff, it had just happened.
Yeah.
It had just happened. They had not passed the big, beautiful bill, but it was in negotiation. The tariffs had just been announced. Now look where we are. The tax cuts are permanent. We have generational welfare reform. We have deals being cut. The market has responded. Countries are investing in the United States. I mean, in my home state of Kentucky, GE announced they're bringing 800 jobs back to Kentucky. Why? Because the CEO said, well, the current tariff environment makes it so we can reshore 800 jobs back to our plant in Kentucky. So it's clearly working. I voted for all this. This is what I voted for. This is what I voted for. The only thing that I wish they had done better in the first 6 months is a better PR effort on the Doge situation. I like what they're doing, which is going around and finding objectively stupid things and cutting it. And the rescissions package that they passed was a good thing. They need more. I wish there had been better PR around that, but the principles and impulses are correct. So I'm at an A+. This is what I voted for. I voted for this. I wanted this. Most Republicans, his numbers among Republicans are over 90%. Nobody that voted for this as a Republican is unhappy with it.
Respect. PBD, where are you at these days? Because you weren't in the A+ range 3 months ago.
I'm at B+, is where I'm at, and it's because to me, the top 5 most important things to me, Panama Canal, China, those two haven't been done yet. It's very simple. To me, I am long-term thinker, couple decades. China is not going to be a 2-year issue. It's going to be a 40-year issue, and we have to address those guys. And we need leverage. We don't have Panama Canal. That is how they can make America's life hell.
Ooh.
You think COVID was nasty? You know what happens if those guys try to mess with the Panama Canal and create conflicts for themselves? That we feel the pain? Well, food's not going to arrive for this much. Well, this is not going to arrive for this much. You think you'd go to a Rolex store, there was no watches. You'd go to dealerships. Used cars were being sold more from brand new cars at the time because of what they did. I'm not comfortable with the amount of control China has with Panama Canal and the tariffs, they're not being done yet, the trade deal. Those two things get done, I'm going to be a little bit more comfortable there. But we're at the end of the podcast. Scott, last question for you. There's a lot of talks about you, what you're going to be doing next. Are you going to be taking over Mitch McConnell's position? Are you going to be running 2028? Are you going to be asked to get in there and do some stuff with the White House? You've become a massive, massive star the last 18 months. What's next for Scott Jennings?
Well, the most immediate issue I have is I got to sell this book, A Revolution of Common Sense, which comes out on November the 18th. You can pre-order it right now if you go on Amazon, type in A Revolution of Common Sense, and you can find it. And that's Project A. Project B is, in the last couple of weeks, I started a nationally syndicated radio show with Salem, 2 to 3 each day. I'm after Charlie Kirk and before Hugh Hewitt. And so I'm trying to...
Great spot.
Yeah, it's a
Seriously.
great spot. 1 hour
Phenomenal.
a day. It's great. I come from radio. When I was a kid, I was in radio, and so it's been a dream to do that. So I want to get...
KRLA? Is this with Salem? Or are you on
This
KRLA?
is Salem. It's Salem Station.
All over the place.
All over the
Okay,
country.
got it.
So that's great. And so I want to make sure I get that right. I'm kind of... in fact, I'll go over to do it this afternoon. Number 3, I just re-signed a 3-year contract with CNN. Nice. My contract was up in January, and I decided to re-sign with them because to be honest, they put me in a place so I could succeed. This debating format, this is what I was put on this earth to do, debate. And,
You're amazing, Scott.
And I love it.
Yeah.
And they've been really good to me. I've been with them for over 8 years, so I re-signed with them. So I don't really have any political announcements to make. I do admire people who run. I have harbored ambitions of running. I have no news to make on that front. I may do it someday, but right now, my principal focus is the book, the radio show, being the best political commentator on cable news. That's what I'm trying to be every night, and try to give half the country a voice. I mean, that to me is why it works. Half the country needs a voice in these debates. That's what I'm trying to do.
Scott, your book, when you graduate, if we go find an old yearbook of yours, do they say Scott Jennings most likely to? What was that?
Best debater.
Actually, I was Mr. Dawson Springs High School.
Okay.
Really? Yes. And there's a crazy photo of me in the Dawson Springs
see that thing.
High School
Seriously?
yearbook.
Well, now I got to see it.
PBD,
Which one
Dawson's
is
Creek.
this?
There you go.
Where's Scott Jennings?
There's my dad, by the way. Oh, yeah. By the way, on the top, my dad right there in the Cardinals jersey. My dad was a garbage man and a factory worker. First guy to ever tell me Donald Trump was going to be the next president. Told me way back in 2015, he was like, Trump's going to be the president. And I, like everybody else who'd been trained in conventional politics, was like, you're full of shit, man. Wow. And like many times in my life, my dad was right and I was wrong. And I thank God every day my dad was right and I was wrong.
Well, listen, if CNN signed you, Fox should sign him because he's
He knew.
Yeah.
Well,
and by the way, you said you come to the Republicans 2 years ago. My dad, when I was growing up, union guy, big Clinton guy.
Yep.
Think about all these guys in, like, you live down there with 101st.
Yep.
These middle America, rural middle America guys, working class guys, they were all Democrats.
Yep.
They voted for Clinton. They loved Democrats.
Exactly.
And somewhere along the way, they realized the Democrats no longer shared their worldview or cared what they thought or cared about their futures. And, a lot of them voted for Bush. They fell off. They didn't vote as much for Republicans in 2008. But Trump comes along, and he speaks in a way that they would speak if anyone ever bothered to hand them a microphone. That's why he's successful among guys like my dad. And so, anyway, I talk about that in my book. My dad was a canary in the coal mine for me. He knew.
Guys, go place an order of the book. We're going to put the link below. But, Scott, you realize if for you debating is not work, there's levels to this game. And there's this thing in America called a presidential election where you get to do it on the bigger stage to really showcase your talent. And I just would love to see you on that stage. I think it would be very, very entertaining to see what you would do there. So who knows? I got some friends that are in Vegas, and they would like to know, is it if like the other day, somebody made a bet. I don't know if you saw this bet or not. It was 66-1 on how many Wimbledons Roger Federer was going to win. Did you hear about this?
66-1.
The guy bets that Roger Federer is going to win 7 Wimbledons. Did you guys hear the story? Nick Newlife from Oxfordshire made a 1,520-pound bet. at 66-1 when Roger Federer only had one Wimbledon, that the guy's going to win 7. He dies in 2009. The ticket wins 2019. He wins $100,000, and he put it in his will that he wanted that $100,000 to go to a charity because he was certain this guy's going to one day win 7 freaking Wimbledons. So, to my friends who are in this business in Vegas, they're wondering, long term, 10 years, is it a healthy wager to make that Scott Jennings may put his, you know what I'm saying, and choose to compete?
Did you say 10 years?
10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Well,
then we
10
got
years? Well, guys, if you think about
10
it.
years, you mean you're going to be running in the
4
next
years,
10
28
years?
possibility.
I'm saying in the next 10 years, if the opportunity is right and life is right, 10 years is a long time.
But to be honest with you, Scott, I don't think it's 10 years. The opportunity is going to be right in 3 years.
And guess what? His contract runs out.
I know. So the reason why 3 years is the right time is because Trump's done. So you won't be going, because the biggest mistake the governor of our state made is go up against the guy that made him while he was still shining, and many wanted him to get back in the White House. Some call it career ending. Some say he's going to make a comeback. Who knows? Trump's a fairly forgiving guy if you give him the credit. If you remind the public that without him, you would have never been governor, he has no problem coming and saying you guys should vote for this guy, right? But I don't think it's 10 years. I think it's 3 years. I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be very good for TV. And when it gets to that point, we'd love to bring you back and discuss what that looks like. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
You got my vote.
Yeah.
Your confidence is
And we know
flattering.
one thing at least. CNN is allegedly going to be around for the next 3 years because as he signed
At
a
least
3-year deal.
at least 3 years.
So we'll see.
But I tell you, it's also very important that you're a product of CNN running. Like if you're thinking about a product,
Smart.
hey, I've been actually think about it from this angle for a second. Who has been in the lion's cage, okay, the most the last 2 years? Do me a favor. Give me all the pundits. Trump's number one, so he's in that, so you set him aside. Go to everybody else who's been in the lion's cage the last 2 years, getting shots where there's a monopoly of everybody who disagrees with you. Give me a name of Scott.
No, you can't.
That's
He's
what I'm
the
saying.
guy.
There's
if you go
He's
to
dealing
Fox,
with all the libs.
if you go to Fox, it's not. If I go to CNN, other shows, what are the biggest debate shows? Who else?
No,
is
like
it?
the five has that one girl.
Jessica
that goes,
Tarlov on
Yeah.
Fox. She does a good job of holding her own.
I think Tucker's a possibility in 28.
We should invite her.
I think you got Dave may run as a libertarian. Okay. Yeah, she's in a lion's cage, but she hasn't done anything that's gone viral where liberals want to retweet it.
No.
Presidents are not retweeting her clips going viral. Presidents are retweeting what Scott Jennings is saying.
If Biden was the president.
President Jennings.
No, but what I'm trying to tell you is
Den.
like previous Obama.
Scott?
This is the king of Lion's Den today on mainstream media. He's the king of it. And so this is training ground, baby. Training ground. My son was at Yale for the last 3 weeks. He just got back from the camp. And he's a hardcore political guy. Freaking loves politics, Scott.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. This guy can watch hours and hours of debate. We prepped him. I said, listen, you go into a place that 99% of people are not going to agree with you. 90% are not going to agree with you. He's there for a few weeks. There was only one kid whose father was a Trump supporter. Not one kid was a supporter of Trump.
And he argued with all of them.
But it was awesome for him.
Yeah.
It was awesome because he was just getting
debate,
bam,
training,
bam, bam,
He's
bam.
going through the reps.
Resistance training. That's exactly what it is.
Exactly what it is. Great. Well, Scott, it's been great having you on, gang. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. I would have liked just Scott and I sitting down for 2 hours as well, Rob. Let's make a note. Next time, maybe I would have liked to have a one-on-one conversation with Scott on maybe bigger, deeper issues, but we got plenty of time. We got time till 2027. The time will come and we'll do that as well. But if you like Scott as much as we do, show the support by going on Amazon, click on a link below, pre-order his book, A Revolution of Common Sense, How Donald Trump Stormed Washington and Fought for Western Civilization. Gang, we will do it again on Thursday. And remember, effective August 11th, you ask for 5 days a week. We cannot go 5 days a week, but effective August 11th, we're going 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And we did this intentionally because Adam is not available on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So Adam will only be doing the podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we're not doing the podcast on Tuesdays.
So I'm out.
So we're trying to figure something out here right now to see what's going to be happening. But with that being said, God bless everybody. Take care. Bye-bye, bye-bye.